This podcast is brought to you by the one and only JList.com. JList.com is not only a great place for you to get Japanese snacks and anime figures, but they are also a fantastic place for you to buy video games as well. And they have a lot of games for your console over at JList. They have Azure Lane Crosswave for PS4, the Grasania Trilogy for the Switch, Persona 5 The Royal for PS4, Aerial Life Premium for PS4, and also games from your favorite properties like Gundam, Girls in Panzer, Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, Legend of Zelda, and tons more. Guys, these games are hard to get, these import Japanese games, but if you want to get some for your console, head over to JList or jbox.com right now, and you can make yourself a pretty good purchase. Have some fun. This podcast is also brought to you by Bookwalker. This episode, do you have a craving for manga or light novels? Head over to Bookwalker to check out their large selection of digital manga and light novels. They have some very well-known series such as A Silent Voice, Konosuba, Attack on Titan, Land of the Lustrous, and so much more. They also offer a free book once a month and use their coin reward program where every purchase gets you closer to receiving a free book. Go to global.bookwalker.jp and sign up. And after creating a new account, use the promo code AAAPOD to get 600 yen off your first purchase. And now, time to start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Oh, welcome into the podcast, guys. Episode 498 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Broadcasting here from Denver, Colorado. We're also in Cincinnati. We're also up in Connecticut today. I'm your host, Mitsugi. I'm glad to be here with two very good friends. We have the wonderful Mandi. Mandi is the middle child. She's in Cincinnati, representing central area of the country. Mandi, what's up?
Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here and I have a horrible headache.
No!
But I'm trying my best. So,
of course.
Energy levels are low. They may pick up later. We'll see.
And what sort of energy are you choosing today?
Oh, I had coffee, but I finished it, so now I just have water.
Yeah. I'm rocking some Monster Energy, a red Monster Energy drink. And we also have the wonderful Mason. He's up in Connecticut, fresh off of Anime NYC. Mason, what's up with you?
I'm at my triple point right now. My superposition of solid water and gas. I was in New York just this morning. Now I'm in Connecticut, and I'm next week, in mere days, I'm going to the Midwest for Thanksgiving next week. So I'm in all states at once. But I'm doing good.
You're a traveling man.
It would have been very funny if we had started this episode with Mandy and I just on our Switches playing Pokemon. Oh, didn't see you there.
Guys, if you want to head over to our website, a podcast/join, you can join the podcast. You can hear us talk about the new Pokemon game for almost an hour over on the Hobby Addicts. We also have our hentai episodes where you can hear us talk about, the naughty stuff. And where we also have our after parties where we'll be doing one today after the podcast over at over here on Twitch. So head over to aaapodcast.com/join. And don't forget, we do have that exclusive RSS feed now, which will let you access all of this content through your favorite mobile app, which includes apps like Podcast Addict, Pocket Cast, the Apple Podcast app, Overcast FM, Downcast, Castbox, and others. So you can head over there and you get that as well by joining the website. And thank you for everybody who's watching on Twitch. I'm going to give you a big wave and blow you a kiss, because you're beautiful people. Please follow us on Twitch if you find yourself entertained by us today. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. And, of course, over at our Discord. The Discord is pretty much active 24/7. You guys have some updates you wanna announce for the Discord while we're rolling along here?
Yeah. I mean, the first big update, well, not really the big update. The thing to look forward to is the end of the year, like opinions and polls. I'm busy. That Google Doc is almost done, so we'll put out that survey soon. We're and also like best stuff of the decade and like the
Oh,
years will be included. So you'll, I guess, have a lot to think about and a lot to discuss
yeah.
coming up.
We're
We
gonna,
also have the Anime Club.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
I said we're going to be talking about that pretty soon. Anime of the
Yes, we are.
anime best animes of the decade here on the podcast. I think in short order. So
Yeah, but we want to hear your thoughts about it as well. But we
course.
also have the Anime Club, which in a couple days, if you're watching this live, we'll be discussing the first 11 episodes of Gankutsuo, the Count of Monte Cristo, the wallpaper come to life anime. Is I think Mandy referenced it. It's a trip. It's a wild one.
Yeah.
So that's 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the 20th if you're listening live. If not, you'll have to join next time, which will be on December 4th.
Yeah.
Or whatever show that will be.
Mason and I have also been streaming gaming, trying to do twice a week. We didn't this last Friday because
I
Mason
ran
was
away.
in Anime NYC, but we've been aiming for every Monday and Friday, of course, time permitting. But if you would like updates on when we are streaming or when we are doing community games, because sometimes we've been trying to get the community together to play games together on Fridays, you can just ask one of us in the Discord, a mod, Mason or I, to give you the gaming role so you can get pinged when that stuff is coming up. We also have my manga club. We just covered A Bride's Story last week, which was fantastic. I loved it so much. But our next manga will be the first 2 volumes of Beastars, which would be on November 27th, which is coming up, not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. So go to Discord and go down to Manga Club chat and check the pin notes for the times, chapters, everything that you need to know, a schedule of what's coming up. And this also, just saying that this Beastars, what we're reading has already been covered in the anime. So if you're worried about spoilers, like, I don't know if I want to read it, you don't have to worry about it because everything has already been covered.
Do it, read it, join us, be a friend, be our friend.
guys,
So we have a lot of cool.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I know. Do you have more announcements? Go ahead.
No, I was going to talk about what we're doing today.
Yeah. Roll into it.
So we got a lot of stuff coming up in this episode. We're going to be talking about what we have been doing in anime. I've been watching a lot of stuff. Mason went to Anime NYC, so we'll be talking about that. And we also have a review of Demon Slayer, which was one of my picks from was that winter or was it spring? I can't remember.
Well, it has to be 2 seasons ago because it's 26 episodes. It's been running for about half a year. Yeah. Guys, we also have the listener choice poll. A lot of you have already voted, but if you want to vote for the listener choice, it's down to pretty much between 2 different anime. They're real close. So I'm going to let it run for another week to see if one of these anime can kind of pull ahead of the other. I'm not going to say what they are, but if you want to vote in the listener choice poll, our lovely social media manager, Caroline, is putting it on social media, on Twitter and Facebook, but also you can just get to it from the website. On the website, there's a banner, like a bar right across the middle of the site where you can just click and vote. So, all right, you guys ready to just roll right into it?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Also, Demon Slayer was spring. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, spring episode 47.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Guys, Pokemon came out. It's Pokemon Week.
What? Since when?
And I said that Mandy and Mason talked about this at length during the Hobby Addicts, but I think you're going to get some pretty good opinions on the game right here. So how do you guys feel about the Pokemon game? What has the reception been like? Is the reception warranted? What's going on with this game?
I've had earmuffs on. I've been very, disattached from the outside world. None of that. I'm not letting any of those bad vibes get to me. I'm coming in unblinded, unbridled by expectations. I haven't played a mainline Pokemon game in a while. I didn't play Sun or Moon, X or Y, Black, White 2. So I've been out of it. And all that said, it feels good to be back in the world. It feels good and I'm enjoying it. And is it a game-changing step for Pokemon? No, but I boot up the game and I enjoy it and I have a smile on my face and it's fun. It's relaxing. It's nice.
It sounds like that's been a lot of the criticism about the game. I read some reviews and people were complaining about lack of innovation, graphics, which I think is kind of foolish because, I mean, it's on the Switch, right? So it's not like you're playing this on PC where the graphics are expected to be pretty good, right? So, but I mean, it is another Pokemon game. You're getting new Pokemon, a new adventure, and a new anime and manga as well. So I kind of wish people could just be happy that they're having more Pokemon content, you know?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I like Mason. Mason doesn't deal with social media. I do, and that is all my social media has been this past week is a big mix of this is the worst game ever, and people saying no, I love it so much. It's crazy. It is insane the amount of hatred that came out over Pokemon. But yeah, I mean, been enjoying it so far. Like Mason said, it's not like this is such a huge step in in a way that it's like this Pokemon game has changed Pokemon forever. It's not like that. It's pretty much like if you have enjoyed all of the other Pokemon games and all of the issues that went along with those, they're still in the game. Like it's still easy. It feels like the same Pokemon
It definitely
has
feels
always been.
a handheld Pokemon game on a new
Yeah.
handheld more than the console Pokemon game that I
Yeah.
think people have been looking for. But what has the internet been saying? What do we have here? This Metascore?
I mean, the Metascore is an
What's all
80.
that about?
I mean, take whatever you want from like a Metascore. You know, these scores are based on review sites, so it's not like people, just dumping on it. It's got an 84.5, which, I mean, if you just type the word Pokemon in on like GameRankings.com, there's almost no Pokemon game above a 90. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So
They're just baseline standardized.
If I copy pasted all these percentages into an Excel document, I would say the average score for a Pokemon game is about an 85-ish. So, I mean, It's pretty much the same. It's in the ballpark with the rest of the games, and honestly, Pokemon, it has built an empire on these games, and so, it's just more of the great Pokemon that I think you expected. I do feel kind of let out, or left out because I don't have a Switch, but, maybe I'll buy one. If I do, I'll probably get Shield. Oh my God.
There you go. I mean, I found like the whole argument is just going to come down to, do you see this game as stagnation or do you see it as consistency? And really, where you fall on that spectrum will just determine your opinion on the game.
But does stagnation make it a bad game? I mean, is there...
I mean, it could just be deflating and disappointing.
Because,
and
I mean,
upsetting.
I look at other game franchises that I've loved, this Gaia, Final Fantasy, and I would have been thrilled if like Final Fantasy had just stuck with what they were doing well, with Final Fantasy 9 and 10 and not kept experimenting with the games. So like it's not necessarily a bad thing to stick with what works. That's kind of my take, but little innovations are nice, but I think they've done that, have they not? Can you not battle people?
Pokemon changes every generation. There's something new that they introduce to it. So,
but there's also like innovation versus gimmick. Also, another two words you could put side by side, and it's like, how much of this is going to change the core of how I approach the game, and how much of it is a one-time, that's cute thing. So, I don't know. I'm enjoying it for now. We're both still pretty early into the game. I mean, it just came out, so I don't know. We'll probably have more thoughts on it later.
Guys, a couple questions. Have you guys announced what your starter Pokemon were yet?
Sable. For me.
I chose Grookey, and I'm playing Pokemon Shield.
So like,
I'm playing Sword.
I think that the three starter Pokemon right now are there's Grookey, who's like the monkey. He's the grass type Pokemon.
Heck yeah.
Then there's what's the rabbit called?
Scorbunny.
Yeah, Scorbunny. So he's like the fire type, and then of course there's the Mandy. What's the water type called?
Sobble.
It's like a tadpole type looking dude. So pretty cool. What would you guys say is your favorite element of the game so far? Like, what about the game has you most hyped up about it?
I love the way that stadium battles are done now. Like the just how they've changed how gyms look. Where before in previous Pokemon games, it's like, I don't know, gyms felt like they were just very private, like events that were inside of just a building, and you only had to deal with the trainers and the gym leader. But now they're like huge like spectacles where you do go through like the typical gym challenge, but when you fight the gym leader, you go up on a platform and you're in an arena with a cheering crowd, and they chant and they sing while you're battling, and that is
That's awesome.
exciting. I love the way that it looks.
Get hype.
Yeah, I haven't done too much with raids so far. I've done like 4 of them, and they're not so difficult that like this is something that I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and like I don't know, like there's not much to them that I felt like, I don't know. It's kind of cool that you can now battle with friends and random people online to earn these gigantic Pokemon. Like you can catch them after you defeat them. So that's kind of cool that you're working together, but it's not so in depth that I was like, this is something really special that's going to always be a part of Pokemon now.
I get you. My favorite thing, besides all the little like details and signs of life that they are able to inject into the game, is I like the wilds, essentially the big open routes where you kind of can pick your path, and it just injects freshness to the game, and it's fun. I like it, and yeah, it's just a minor like concept design and how they connect areas, but I enjoy it, and that's probably my favorite thing.
So you guys are getting a new anime and a manga as well. Today, actually, the new anime started. It came out on Tokyo TV at 5:30 p.m. They're talking about a more serious art style. It's set in the Galar region, like the game is, I think. But they're talking about Satoshi and Go. His buddy's name is Go, and I guess they're going to be traveling beyond the region that the game is set in, which I guess is kind of a detraction for the anime. And Go is he's High Bunny. His buddy is called High Bunny, and he's a young boy just starting out on his journey. And his goal is to catch all the Pokemon, of course, and then he wants to find Mew, who I guess he saw as a child, which kind of reminds me of like way back at the beginning of Pokemon, because I mean, I think that like didn't Ash
When
see
Ash
saw
Ho-Oh.
the Ho-Oh, yeah, and I guess we're still sticking with Pikachu. I mean, I don't know, I feel like I guess Pikachu is just like so popular that they can't detract from him.
No,
I guess
you can't take away Pikachu. There's no way.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
He is the face of Pokemon.
There's also a new manga. The manga, this manga is going to be the 15th part of the Pokemon manga. So this sucker's been going forever. And it's going to start in January 2020, following the end of the current Pokemon manga, which is Sun and Moon, of course. So, so people that if you love Pokemon, you are literally never going to run out of stuff to enjoy. So they're just going to keep this monster rolling. So.
I wonder if like the Pokemon comic books that I was reading as a child are like just translations from this manga series. I wonder if that was my first manga series.
Did you read Pokemon Adventures? Which one did you read? Or was it the Electric Tail Pikachu?
I think Adventures sounds more right, but I would have to look it up. I don't know.
I'm trying to look it up. I know Electric Tail Pikachu was like, it had the very like it had Ash, it had Misty and Brock. It was very much like the anime in a way, but Adventures had followed like the game Red, and that one was very different because it, like, I don't want to say dark as in like, oh, like to give you the impression that it was something edgy. No, but it was like slightly more adult than what Pokemon usually is, because they do die. There are Pokemon that get obliterated and cut up and sliced, and they eat people.
Oh shit!
There's a lot
like
more going in there.
That like 4-episode OVA, like Pokemon Origins, that came out, which is the best Pokemon series to ever be animated yet. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, maybe it's the difference between like that comic and like you're talking about the game related thing. But yeah, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's fine. I will probably skip it, but
I might look into it.
All right, guys. Well, let's
Is
keep
the
this.
manga? Oh, sorry. I was gonna ask real quick before we move on. Was the manga following Ash, or is it following the protagonist of Sword and Shield? Does it say anywhere?
It's saying that the like I'm guessing it will follow Sword and Shield.
Okay, that's all I was wondering.
To
So
guess.
it probably is in the Adventures
Timeline.
line. Yeah, okay. That's all I was wondering.
All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
Howdy, partner. I seen you riding in on that dusty trail. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the moe.
All right, guys, for the good this week, Yoko Kanno has composed the song for Reiwa Emperor's enthronement celebration. So they are having, the new emperor in Japan has just been enthroned, and Yoko Kanno, who of course, I mean, we all know her. She did the music for Macross Plus, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, and Wolf's Rain, a ton of other stuff. She's just super famous and awesome. Wrote a 13-minute song called The Ray of Water for the enthronement celebration of the Emperor of Japan, which is what a huge honor for her. The song is broken into 3 parts, so I guess it's kind of like a concerto of sorts. Kaishin, meaning sea god, Niji no Kodomo, meaning children of the rainbow, and Journey to Harmony. So pretty cool. Yoko Kanno just continues to be just a gem. You know, what else can you say about her? She's great. For the bad, a man and a woman really have both been charged with threatening the Final Fantasy VII Remake's voice actress, Ayumi Ito, and I don't understand why we're always threatening celebrities just for doing their jobs. It just seems so silly, but the Tokyo Metropolitan Police have processed and arrested 2 suspects for threatening the life of Ayumi Ito, of course, like as I said, the voice actress of Tifa, a female unemployed, of course, it seems like these people were always unemployed, suspect in her 20s from Aichi Prefecture, and a man in his 30s from Hokkaido, who are totally unrelated, so I don't know why this woman, Ayumi Ito, is so disliked, but maybe it's just because there's so many fanatics about Final Fantasy VII. The female suspect wrote, quote, "I hate you so much that I want to kill you." And I'm like, you don't even know this person. And the male suspect allegedly wrote that, I quote, "I want you to recast the game character voiced by Ito, and quote, I feel like I want to gouge eyeballs with a knife," and among other threats. And I'm just like, good lord.
Wait, gouge his own eyeballs?
I don't know. That's the direct.
Her eyeball?
That's the direct
I'm not
quote.
Think about it.
The direct
think
quote.
about it.
It's not
That
important.
reminds me of when Lena Headey, the actress for Cersei, when she was playing Cersei, she got harassed all the time just because of how much people hated Cersei. And it's like, you guys gotta realize here that she's just doing her job. And if she portrayed it in a way that you do hate her for that, she's actually doing a pretty damn good job then.
Yeah.
Ayumi Ito did pull out of several events due to these threats, unfortunately. Her only real roles are Tifa, both in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII, so I'm looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII game. I already bought it, so let's go. For the moe, this is pretty interesting. Japan's cheapest hotel charges just $1 a night for a room with a huge catch that you have no privacy whatsoever. I almost saved this for the main topic. There is a ryokan called Asahi in Fukuoka City, where the hotel will sell you a room for $1.20 a night, but you must agree to have your entire stay streamed live on YouTube, broadcasting from your room. So there's cameras in your room, and people can voyeuristically watch you while you sleep, eat, brush your teeth, whatever, but they ask you not to appear nude on camera. That's the only stipulation, because I guess that would never fly on YouTube, but so very weird stuff going on.
I mean, I would
in Japan.
do it. I would definitely do that.
I would too.
Mason would do it. I would not.
You don't need to stay in your room all day, right? You can just use it
True.
like a hotel where it's like, oh, they're gonna see me for an hour as I wake up and get ready for bed. But besides that, I'm just sleeping and or not in the room.
You could
Well,
even
can
have
they
fun.
watch you sleep?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
probably.
It's 24/7 feed. You can actually go on YouTube and watch this feed right now if you want.
No, I'm good.
You can
That's
turn the lights
kind
off.
of weird.
Yeah. So yeah, I would too for $1 a night. Heck yeah. I'd even have fun with it. Do a little dance while you brush your teeth, whatever. Get some entertainment out of it. So that's it for the good, the bad, and the moe. So from pretty weird stuff.
When we go to Japan in a year and a half, that's how we'll just all.
That's where we're staying.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
Right.
not.
Watch us watch Haikyuu.
We'll podcast from there. The cross promotion.
It's not even a bad hotel room either. I saw pictures of it, and it's like a normal, just tatami mat room. It's not even crappy or sketchy at all. So yeah, and there I have.
What all did we do when we were in our Airbnb? I know we watched Haikyuu. We played a very vicious game of what was it? The slapping card game.
Rat Screw or
I think it was
Egyptian
something like
rat
that.
screw. Egyptian
Yeah.
rat
Yeah,
screw.
that very intense. At one
Someone
point.
That was-
broke
yeah.
their hand open. Yeah, and I have more really odd, weird news stories for the main topic. So look forward to hearing
Excellent.
more weird.
Excellent.
There's just a lot of weird shit going on in Japan.
Yeah, like Icy Rose said, we could just podcast from there.
Exactly.
Anybody
That's
ready?
life.
Ready for the Mandirake?
Ooh, yes, please.
いらっしゃいませ。Welcome to the Mandirake Shop. ごゆっくりご覧くださいね。
She's so cute.
She is. This is the Mandirake Shop where I get to show off some of my nerdy shit in my collection, and I hope from Manga Bit I always say I hope you find something new to read. Hopefully, I don't help you buy everything on the planet.
Oh, come
with
on.
this. But show you some kind of cool stuff that I've collected, and some of the other hosts will have things to show off later on in future episodes. This one is probably going to be pretty short, but because I'm showing off an art book for this one. This one is the Hozuki art book. It is called, it's probably going to mess up my light because I got to put it over it. It's called the Goku Tobira Kaiga Eguchi Natsume Hozuki no Reitetsu Tobirai Collection. That is
Wow.
a mouthful.
Very well
wow.
done, though. Very well done.
Thank you. It is published by Kodansha, and it's just full of original artwork by the mangaka of Hozuki no Reitetsu called, her name is was it her or is a man? I can't remember. But their name is Eguchi Natsume. And this book was published in 2006 and is 190 pages long. And there is no text in this book other than a little quote from Eguchi Natsume in the very back. And every illustration in this book, and I'm going to show it off for those who are watching the live stream. If you're not watching this live, I will put up some pictures in our live stream chat in the Discord, so you can check there, or if you are subscribed, you can check the show notes. There's some stuff in there as well, or just watch us on Twitch later on or on YouTube. But
the illustrator is a lady.
Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure.
I was trying to find that. Thanks.
We were both like, I'm pretty sure she is, but let's double check. So
I was hunting for it.
Yeah, I was sure, but then after I said it, I was like, I could be wrong. I didn't want to get the wrong information.
Anyway,
But-
let's see these.
Yeah. Every illustration in this book gets an entire page dedicated to it, and they're gorgeous. And Eguchi says in the back, and I had to translate this, so it's very rough, but she was saying that she wanted to take a moment to try and portray her characters from Hozuki no Reitetsu. If you've seen it, that is the show about the underworld of Japanese underworld, and portraying it in sort of like a business way. It's really funny. It's a really funny show, and it has a bunch of like typical like folklore things in there for Japanese, like yokai and folklore, and a bunch of stuff about just Japanese hell. But she wanted to show the characters of Hozuki no Reitetsu in ways that she wasn't able to show in the anime or the manga, in different kind of like urban wear, and there's all kinds of stuff in this book, and they're all very striking with very just blacks and whites, and there's very hardly any shading. Everything in here is very clean, and while there are some pictures, I'm trying to find one that I had bookmarked.
It reminds me as you look, very much visually as the same kind of look as like the ping pong manga, where there isn't much gradients. It's just harsh, deep blacks and like whites.
Yeah, there are a lot of pictures that are very simple, but then there are some that have a lot of detail packed into them, and everything is just so clean. And
holy shit!
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love this this art book. This is probably one of my favorites that I've collected, and there's just so much in there with all the characters from the franchise in different like poses and outfits and situations that you wouldn't normally see in the manga. So I highly recommend checking that out. I got this an Anime NYC last year, and it was from Kinokuniya, and it was $38. I'm looking at the price tag right on the back.
I knew I had seen this because I was like, where I've seen these images, and then I was like, oh yeah, I was there when you bought it. And
Yeah,
we looked through it, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we were watching.
God,
we were
so
looking
good.
through it while waiting for Natsume.
Yes, that's what it was.
I was just stunned by the beauty and sexiness that is Hozuki. He's just a smexy man.
Right.
It's
It's
really
just
good.
mythology and bureaucracy smushed together and put through like a comedy filter, and it's it's so much fun. I love it.
A lot of quirky characters. I love Hozuki so much. Every time there's a new season, I'm like, I can't wait.
All right,
Very
guys.
Nice.
Well, we have trivia on our website, as you know, and we were doing a scary theme for Halloween. Well, we are done with that now. So the last week just finished, and the answer was Higurashi no Nakukoro ni, which you guys are great. I basically just had like one tiny little piece of a character's hair, and then just like a big blood splatter, and a bunch of you got it still.
Crazy.
It was the blood.
I don't know how people. Yeah.
It was the blood that gave it away.
So good job. The winner for the week is Golden Jedi Link, so a continuous player of our trivia. But the winner for the month...
Holy moly, it must be my birthday.
Nope, just trivia. It's Bill Nye, the Russian spy, has won the trivia. So very well done, of course. And the new theme for the next month, because, hey, it's Thanksgiving season now, and the theme is now friends and family. So all the pictures are family themed. So, and it's the current picture I put up is also pretty difficult, but some of you have already got it. So there's just no fooling you. You're too good. Okay.
Either that or Google Images.
Well, I hope not. You little sneakers. We'll see.
Not that I'm saying you should do that.
Shh, don't tell them about that.
Oh, I think this is
Alright.
doable. I think people can get this one. I think you listener should go there right now, aaapodcast.com. You can get that. I believe in you.
Go for it.
Cool.
But
Oh
also,
yeah, this is me, isn't it? I'm so sorry. I was
No.
looking at the picture like, can I get it? Sorry. Now for our intro weekly trivia question, which we'll answer after the break, is what is the name of the Demon Slayer's OP and who is the artist that performed it? That is for our review that is coming up. So think about it. We'll answer it after the break.
Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsugi is here, and it's time for your anime news break. Getting us started off today, we have a couple of new anime adaptations to announce, starting with the manga Kakushi Goto. So this property is going to be debuting in 2020. It looks like this was announced in the January 2020 issue of Monthly Shonen Magazine, where they're going to be revealing the details of the series, and this is going to be around on December 6th when that comes out. Of course, the manga done by Koji Kumeta. Synopsis: we will open the curtain back in time to the story of one lone manga creator. This story is about Go Kakushi, an artist who draws a somewhat vulgar manga and tries to hide it for the sake of his daughter, Hime, a father-daughter tale of love and laughter. So, sounds like a slice of life show. If you are a fan of slice of life or you want to get involved in this, you can probably check this out either in the December 6th issue of Monthly Shonen Magazine or in the debut coming out in 2020. Next up, more anime announcements. The light novel Monster Musume no Oisha-san is getting a TV anime. This synopsis: in the town of Lindworm, where monsters and humans coexist, Dr. Glenn runs an exemplary medical clinic for monster girls with his Lamia assistant, of course it has to be Lamia, Safi. Whether receiving a marriage proposal by a centaur injured in battle, palpating the injury of a mermaid, or suturing the delicate wounds of a flesh golem, you get it. They're all going to fall in love with the doctor, I'm assuming. And you're going to have basically Monster Musume Season 2, directed by Yoshiaki Iwasaki of You Love Love Hina and Skyma, F-Note Skyma. And you're also going to be getting the music by Tomas and Studio Arvo. The animation is going to be doing the production. So look out for more Monster Girls in this adaptation of Monster Girl Doctor that's going to be coming out in 2020. And next up, another new anime announcement. World End Economica is going to be crowdfunded. It looks like a Japanese crowdfunding platform, Campfire, reached its goal of about $70,000 within just one day, thanks to backers' crowdfunding campaign to be an adaptation of Spicy Tales' World End Economica visual novel. So this is going to be coming out sometime soon. It looks like humanity's last inhabitable frontier city on the moon, Haru, a young boy who was born on the moon, has always dreamed of standing where no man has stood before. To do so, he needs money. In order to build his capital, he gets involved with the stock market, a market that can swallow a man's desires and sometimes crush them. That is true. That coming from the Kickstarter campaign. Interesting sounding story. With a little economics thrown in there for fun. So we'll be looking forward to World End Economica when that anime adaptation does get released. And lastly, some bad news for Free fans. It looks like the Free film that was scheduled for 2020 has been postponed. Kyoto Anime Production had scheduled the release for summer 2020, but officials had announced that it has been indefinitely postponed due to various circumstances. Of course, this same article also says that KyoAni hopes to have an updated release date sometime soon, and suggesting that we don't know what the word indefinite means when writing the news article. Of course, the Free series began airing in July of 2013. It's based on the high-speed light novel. So if you're a fan of Free or Kyoto Animation, be patient. The Free movie will be coming out sometime soon. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, let's get back to the podcast. Guys, JList.com is a great place for you to get all of your Japanese snacks and anime figures, but JList.com also owns Just USA, a game company, and they carry tons of games, including console titles for you at JList. They have Azure Lane Crosswave for PS4, the Grisania Trilogy for the Switch, Persona 5 The Royal for PS4, Aerial Life Premium Edition for the PS4, and other favorites from your favorite properties, including Gundam, Girls in Panzer, Attack on Titan, Kill la Kill, Legend of Zelda, and hundreds of more titles. Head over to JList.com or JBox.com, and you can find yourself some sweet Japanese console titles to be played in your home.
Hey, this is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto Uzumaki, and I am an anime addict. Use your Rasengan!
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
What is your video game Mount Rushmore? I would say Mega Man. Mega Man deserves to be on this list.
Nowhere near the Mount Rushmore.
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
Are you kidding?
I mean, yes, Mega Man has some great games, but are you kidding me?
Dude,
Mega
you
Man
are out of your mind,
on the
man.
Mount Rushmore?
You're crazy. You're going to put Master Chief that hasn't contributed anything to gaming, and you're going to knock out...
100%.
And you're going to knock out Mega Man, which basically solidified Capcom as a game company.
And where are they now?
One of the biggest video game companies in the world, responsible for Resident Evil, 1,000 arcade machines.
When was the last?
Oh my God!
When was the last good
believe
Resident
it.
Evil?
I can't believe it.
Hasn't Capcom stopped making video games?
No, I would argue absolutely 100%, without a doubt, that Sonic the Hedgehog, who basically founded Sega himself, is more important than Master Chief.
And he fell off a cliff just like Mega Man.
But that doesn't matter. He created an entire company. Without Sega, you wouldn't have the Genesis, the Dreamcast.
Who cares about the Dreamcast? That system was...
Dude, Sega Corp is a gigantic company that makes like half of Japan's arcades.
BCom says, where is Sega now?
Making billions and billions of yen.
In the video game industry?
Yes!
In the video game industry.
Dude, you're nuts,
What video
man.
games are they making?
They make tons of video... Dude,
What video games?
You're only
What's a big Sega video game right now? What's a big game?
I need you to calm
I'm
down
just
so I
asking
can
you a question.
talk.
I just want to know.
And now, back to the podcast.
All right, and we're back with the podcast. And an answer to our trivia question, what is the name of Demon Slayer's OP, and who is the artist that performed it? And the answer is Gurenge by Lisa. Pretty hot little beat there.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I would also add insult to injury on that last little great moment in AAA Pocket's history, as both Sonic and Mega Man are now getting Hollywood films. So just want to throw that out there, no big deal. Okay.
Oh,
Did you see
Sonic.
that Sonic redesign?
The redesign?
Yeah, it's like night and day, isn't it?
It's so much better.
It's crazy how much has changed.
I still think the movie will be a failure, probably.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But because not even the Pikachu movie did very well. But like I'm still gonna see it, and I have no idea what they're gonna do with Mega Man. I'm afraid for that shit. But okay, are we ready for the manga minute?
Let's do it.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
Take it away.
This is the Manga Minute where I give you. Wait, I messed up my own intro.
Take a minute to tell you about a manga.
Take a minute to tell you about a manga and I hope you find something new to read. Look, guys, my brain is on fire. I don't even know where I am right now.
I mean, I don't have a catchphrase for my segment, so don't feel bad.
Anyways, this one is for Toilet Bound Hanako-kun.
Oh my god.
And this one is sponsored by Bookwalker. My brain is shot, but I'll talk about that more after the manga minute. Hanako-san, are you there? At Kamome Academy, rumors abound about the school's 7 mysteries, one of which is Hanako-san, said to occupy the 3rd stall of the 3rd floor girls' bathroom in the old school building. Hanako-san grants any wish when summoned. Nene Yashiro, an occult-loving high school girl who dreams of romance, ventures into this haunted bathroom. But the Hanako-san she meets there is nothing like she imagined. Kamome Academy's Hanako-san is a boy. Toilet Bound Hanako-san is a supernatural comedy/action manga written and illustrated by Ito Aida. It started publishing back in 2014 and is still ongoing. There are 9 volumes currently available digitally, and they did start printing them in English in physical print, and there's only 1 volume available so far. This manga takes inspiration from all the different yokai and folklore stories that you may have heard in other media franchises, and it blends them together in some kind of shonen action, romance, and there's a little bit of dark comedy in there as well. Our main protagonist, Nene, is a bit of an airheaded girl, obsessed with romance, and has a slight interest in the occult. And she hears the rumor of a ghost known as Hanako-kun that is bound to a particular stall in a women's bathroom. And Nene goes to the toilet in hopes that Hanako will grant her wish. But she is very surprised to find out that the ghost is actually a young boy that is very mischievous. And so begins a tale of supernatural shenanigans after events cause Nene to become Hanako's assistant. And it's very reminiscent of Noragami, if this sounds familiar. And yeah, it has a kind of like a very similar vibe to it. What makes Toilet Bound Hanako-kun so interesting is the blend of shonen and shoujo. There are a lot of action scenes alongside some of the more intimate aspects of shoujo stories. Some of the ghosts have a very creepy aesthetic to them alongside some of the more fluffy looking shoujo character designs. And it's similar to a lot of the newer shonen protagonists that we were seeing today. Toilet Bound Hanako-kun is carrying on with the new habit of possessing a very wholesome cast of characters. And although they're not without a few dark secrets along the way. I've been enjoying it so far. I plan on continuing it. It is funny and there are some cool, creepy things in there as well. And if that sounds like something you are interested in, you can find it on Bookwalker. And if you sign up with a brand new account, use the promo code AAPOD, you can get $6 or 6 yen, I guess it's 600 coins off your very first purchase.
Yeah.
And this manga is available on there. We do have a link which we will put in our live show notes and also in the Twitch feed of some past selections that we have done. We have a page there. You can look at some of the recommendations that we have done in the past. It is not updated with brand new stuff, but you can use the code on anything in the store. It doesn't have to be off this page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
God,
guys.
I love wholesome characters and stuff like this. So
Promo-
Hanako-san is like a classic like urban legend.
Yes.
in Japan. And I remember like seeing it in like Astral Chain, the video game we played recently. There was like the ghost in the bathroom that you had to bring like toilet paper to, and like it's in Yokai Watch, or it's in Gegege no like Kitaro, like, so it's cool that there's this like mix of shoujo and shonen to teach me all about it. I'm interested.
Yeah. Oh, also, it's getting an anime next year. It's being adapted by Studio Lerche, which I don't think has a great reputation, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'll check it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, the promo code AAA Pod, $6 off a manga, almost gets you a free manga. So definitely head over there and use that promo code. So don't miss out on that opportunity. All right, guys, are we ready for Mason's Waifu Wars with the most epic drop?
Yes, indeed.
In the game of waifus, you either win or you are late to anime school. Cake will be thrown, ice cold tea will be served. Who will be top in the class and who will be flunked in Mason's Waifu Wars?
Majestic. I like I said, I was at Anime NYC this weekend, and we'll talk about that coming up.
It's very spontaneous waifu.
Very spontaneous waifu. And I was walking around, I was eating a lot of food, as I do, and I was thinking, I was filing through my Rolodex, going through my database of like, ooh, what waifu is truly deserving of this theme of family, this theme of like this Thanksgiving month where people gather around the table, partake in all sorts of food, like, I don't know, sweet potatoes or
mashed potatoes.
Maybe whipped potatoes, or maybe you're weird and you have like French fries or something.
Potato casserole.
Fries, those are good. Oh, potato casserole. Maybe
there you go.
You're like a heathen and you just make your stuffing out of nothing but potatoes. So
potatoes.
Turkey taters.
Turkey taters.
I got my potato tendies. You know how it is. So I was like, you know what? There's no one better for this I guess it's 2 episodes before Thanksgiving. Waifu this month. This has got to be Sasha Blouse from Attack on Titan. Oh my goodness, people. She's so great. Goodness. She is more than the meme. She is she's so special. Because I'm not even gonna go over Attack on Titan. Everybody knows about the show. Season 3 was great. I highly recommend gritting your teeth and getting through season 2, because season 3 was just a blast.
I still need to watch part 2.
Oh my goodness. It was legitimately phenomenal.
I need to get on that.
But Sasha is great because like she has a super polite speech. You know, she's friendly with everyone. So like your friends and family will be like, oh, what a nice girl. Like, oh, she's so nice. She's so respectful. And she comes in and just eats like a truck. Yeah. And she's gonna win the approval of like your grandma. All your parents will be like, oh, what a hearty girl. That's what we're talking about. They're gonna be like, oh, so proud that she just demolishes, goes up plate for plate, just truly respects the art of cuisine. And besides all that, like she's a capable marksman. Like she grew up as like an animal hunter, so she's more than just a food storage unit. No, she actually helps the Survey Corps. She's she pulls her weight. She's great. And even later, maybe spoilers, but not really, in future volumes, she cuts her hair, goes to the short hair. She goes from good to bay. Oh my goodness, it's amazing.
Oh, you are all about the short hair.
She is spectacular. You already know it. Everyone knows why she's amazing. Go ahead, though.
I was gonna say, like in Monogatari, where all of them cut their hair. I remember how excited you were about that.
Instantly is like, oh my goodness, the rankings change. Oh my goodness, the calculations, they're so hard to keep track of.
I remember that.
But oh my goodness, Sasha, you know, everyone knows she's great. No, I don't think we need to spend any more time on it because we got lots to talk about. But yeah, potatoes,
potatoes.
Do it. I'm trying to think of something to say, and I'm just staring at this GIF that I posted of her just viciously
smashing that potato.
And that's my brain is just going to mush because I'm just being fed the potatoes, and I love it.
And the potatoes too.
And the potatoes.
Guys, that's fantastic, by the way. I think that if it was Thanksgiving, I would want to bring her. She cleans her plate. She cleans everybody's plates. No one appreciates the cooking more. It's
She
fantastic.
may raid your pantry though.
She might. She's got those really deep pockets. Like she just fills, instead of having the different blades in there, she just slides in like drumsticks and just various
sausages.
Just smashing a pie in there. Yeah. Oh my goodness, amazing. Truly a sight to behold.
Sausages.
Okay. Well, guys, we have Bring Your Own Topic today. We all have something unique to talk about here. I have 3 weird Japanese news stories that I dug up. Mason's got some talk on Anime NYC, and Mandi has a list of things that she's been up to lately. Where would we like to begin with this magical journey? I think, personally, I think Anime NYC, it's kind of topical, but
Yeah, let's hear what your adventures were like.
Yeah, so I went to Anime NYC Friday and Saturday of the convention. So this is the 15th and 16th of November 2019. You know, got to date ourselves here. So this is the 3rd year of Anime NYC. I've been to the previous 2 years, so I've been like able to watch it transform in the short time that's been around. I think they pull like 40,000-ish people. I don't think they've announced the numbers for this year, but it's cool because it's no doubt a big convention. They have a lot of people that show up, and the first 2 years they weren't quite equipped just in the layout that they had to contain all those people. Not so much like hold them, because the building is massive, but just the flow of people was kind of stilted and awkward, and there was a lot of just weird like funnels that just it took a while to get places.
You're talking about last year?
Yeah.
Last year was clearly a fire hazard. I mean, it was brutal. They would have been shut down for sure in that artist alley. I mean, you're talking like squeezing through crowds, literally like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, yeah.
It was a big con, and it felt like a big con. You were constantly felt like a sausage being funneled into
pretty much.
The different
You want to play the drop again?
There was like, only if you want to.
It's okay.
But there's like 3 different levels. You kind of had to go through security at each single one. I mean, it was just a nightmare. And this year was far better. This year, both the flow of things, all of dealers and all of artists was on the same floor in the same area. So there was only one checkpoint to get through. And they were much more like keeping people moving. Like there were no lines to wait in to get into the main spaces. And it was amazing how, despite how many people were there, it never felt like overly packed. Like you never had that like tight, like claustrophobic feeling that some people might have. And it was just, I thought it was way better run. There was a lot of people cosplaying this year. It was just a ton of people just really into whatever fandoms brought them there. And I would say like more than average. There was people just dressed up in some manner. And I thought it went really well. The weather, we got lucky. It's still New York in November, like still mid-40s, so it's not like a sauna out there, but it could have been a lot worse. And I think all that kind of worked out nicely. I thought the panels were pretty weak, though. I was kind of disappointed with.
It's because we weren't there, right?
It's because we weren't there. They didn't have Natsume. So the Rakugo guy was pretty good, but he didn't really do. Rakugo was the problem. It was more of like a stand-up show where he talked about his experience of getting into Rakugo and like the apprenticeship of 3 years that he had to do and this and that, and he told jokes, but he only told like one quote-unquote Rakugo story.
Oh, that's disappointing.
And he has a show that you can do that he's doing from like now till the end of January, like twice a week or something in New York City. And I'm guessing if you went to that, you would get multiple stories. And this was more of just hey, people who have never heard of what Rakugo is or what it contains, this is kind of what it was like for me. So it was still very enlightening and educational, but it wasn't like
all talk,
Rakugo.
No show.
But he clearly knew what he was doing. It was well done, and I had fun with that. Watched Frag Time. I'm not going to get too much into a review, but it's done by the same people who did Kase-san and Morning Glories. So there was like the worldwide premiere of that. And Enzo and I will probably talk about that in a future episode. We essentially just said it's a mood and a half. That's how we...
a mood and a half.
Yeah, so we'll leave that review till later. I actually missed out on Weathering with You to come back here to you guys. So I've been following the... Gone Fishing left that review last week saying like, oh, Mason, not that good. He's got to step his game up. So I was like, no, I'm determined. I'm going to get better at this stuff and turn you guys into Mason heads. So
Mason heads?
Mason heads. We got to get the Mason head fan base.
Oh, shit.
But it seems like people were digging Weathering with You. So I unfortunately didn't get to see it, but it was cool. I don't know. I thought overall the con was way better this year. Way easier
Sounds
to get
like it.
around. I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm gonna just talk about very briefly, so you guys have stuff to do. But first, I want to say the best part by far was meeting all of you guys who we found there. Dango, Azulet, obviously Bcom, Frigimon, Irule, Daddy Smurf was there. Cork Mars was there. I did not. So I met all of them. They were great. They were nice. Stupendous. Thank you so much for showing up. Chili and Tristiana, I missed you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't get to see you, and I'm sorry. There was actually one moment we were waiting for Azulet to come join us for the Shrek Time movie, and I was like standing up, like trying to like eyeball like to wave her over, and some guy came up, kind of looking at me. I was like, oh no, he's gonna yell at me to like sit down. Like, what are you doing? Like, get out of the way. And he was just like, oh, my name's Eric, and he like introduced himself, and I was like, oh, I gotta find him and talk to him. And I'm sorry, Eric, if you're listening, but thanks for saying hi.
He recognized you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he started walking away, and then he was like, he did a double take and saw Enzo because he was kind of like hiding. It's like, oh my, didn't even notice. So yeah, just everyone who came out, big thanks. So here's my plugs for everything that I did in 5 seconds. I got one sticker from Artist Alley, only because I try to find like the most obscure thing that like no one else would get, like a thing that like no one makes fan art for, that people wouldn't find in circulation, and like that's what I give my money to. So we got this little guy.
Oh,
from Tech on Concrete.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's white,
I was like,
and
what
he's
is
decked out in Ghibli gear. So he's got like a Totoro hat.
Hell yeah, he is.
And like
of
a
course.
Princess Mononoke like
Respect.
necklace, and these like soot sprite wristbands. Oh my goodness!
Respect some fucking Ghibli. That's right.
That's from Minivan Van. You can find it Van with 4 underscores and then another van. Some random person was giving out these Kirby dog stickers.
Oh, that's adorable.
There's like, she had just a bucket of them, and it was just like, here, take a sticker. And it was cute. We got from the con, all sorts of things. We got
Bride Story.
We got, I'm just showing mangas of volume, so you can use your imagination. We got JoJo Volume 1, finally found it. We got Penguin Highway, the book.
Mason doing some shopping.
Collection. We got, I already have the 13th and final volume, but because it's all black and it works, I got volume 12 of Poon Poon.
Good luck.
Yeah, which I've already read, but I just like
that's true. Yeah, we did finish the whole thing, didn't we?
Complete of it. Aka 13.
I have that one. Is that one in English or is that Japanese?
This is Japanese.
Okay.
And it's great. We got the meme itself, Hunter x Hunter Volume 6, which...
The meme? What do you mean the meme?
The meme itself, because... Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, let's see it.
I know
this going to be a butt? Can we show it on
this is not the Manga Minute.
Show that ass.
I'm sorry.
Is that the volume with the ass?
I should have found it.
Don't hold back. Don't hold back on the ass,
No,
Mason.
it's not the butt.
Oh.
It's the swing pose.
Oh yeah, there he is.
And it's the fight between Hisoka and Gon, and like all the big moments.
Sausages!
We got Sakamoto Desuka.
Oh, the
Volume
best.
1.
Best boy.
Oh, Mason doing some shopping.
D Dango, who was with their for like a Kochira Kawaii like exhibitor, hit me up with this excellent Persona 4 golden art book.
Nice.
It's spectacular.
You should do a Mandirake segment on that.
And then finally,
the coup de grace.
Yeah, exactly. I got volume 1 of Dr. Stone.
Oh.
That was
you got it signed?
by
That's pretty
Boichi
cool.
and the Ikanagi, I believe, the illustrator and the writer.
Boichi's the illustrator, yeah.
And it was sick, and it was fun, and I got way too much stuff, but the con was good, and I would definitely go back again. And if other people run conventions, let me know, and I would love to like go check them out and give them actually a better review than this one. I'm not like running by the seat of my pants. So yeah.
Tell me about all the Hunter x Hunter stuff you found.
Listen, some shows get very popular. They get their fan art, and they degrade, and they kind of lose their seasonal thing. And some shows, like Hunter x Hunter, come out and are just perpetually in the cycle. They're always being turned out from like Artist Alley, exhibitors. There was just a store for Hunter x Hunter fashion.
Wow, Hunter.
Jealous.
Wow.
Shirts, jackets, pants.
Mason,
just Hunter x Hunter.
A Hunter x Hunter fashion store. Wow.
It was a fashion floor. It was.
And what did you buy?
Nothing from
you
there.
Bought nothing. You bought nothing from the.
I've bought nothing from there. I'm sorry.
Disappointing.
But
the worst.
Yeah, there was a lot of Hunter.
Maybe next time.
It was good. There was a lot of.
He teased me by taking pictures of Rohan shit and showing it to me.
Yeah.
Very rude. I don't appreciate it.
I mean, on our Discord, we have tons of pictures of different things that people found. There's so many clever cosplays and stuff that I'm just not even going to get into because go to Discord. We have like a log of all these great things. It was, like I said, the best part of conventions is meeting up with other people. And we had so many good conversations. We went out to ramen with listeners. We went out for other kinds of food. It was just a blast, and I highly encourage people to mark it on their calendar if they want to go next year, because I'm going to try my best to be there again.
And did Enzo dress up as Kiki?
He did not, despite
urging. Disappointed. Okay, maybe next time.
We'll make a post if we can get. What's a good Mandy? You're more of a Twitter person than I am.
Hashtag Enzo fail.
How many like likes or retweets or share? What's the unit of stuff that we need for us to go next year in cosplay? What's a good like baseline?
What are you asking?
To make Enzo and myself like peer pressure us into cosplaying.
Why do we need Twitter? Why don't we just
do
tell
it?
you to do it?
Yeah,
but just do it. It's fun. There's nothing on the line.
This isn't gonna work though. No matter what, you're gonna do it.
Let's fucking go, dude.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Well, I think that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
Five people.
Yeah, exactly. People, make it happen. Shout us on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, guys. There's some pretty weird news stories here in the Japanese news cycle that I think are a little funny, at least amusing. Got 3 of these for you, and the first one of which is a Japanese model home that provides a model wife and daughter, so you can feel like you actually have a real family. So in Japan, apartments are really small, and a lot of times Japanese people won't even consider having a family until they can either buy a house or they have at least a living space that has a lot of room in it, because I mean you're not gonna have a wife and a child in a tiny little apartment room. And so there's a home builder in Japan that is now able to supply the family for you on a temporary basis. It's a company called Regard. They make custom like homes you can live in, and some of the pictures are just like unbelievable. They're so gorgeous, and they have a model set up in Tokyo so you can go visit and see if you like the house that see what kind of stuff they build. And this particular house that they have, you can go visit the house, like sit in it, be in the living space for a while. But they provide a wife and a 7-year-old daughter for you to be in the house with you while you're there, so you can mimic having a family in the house. So you can.
That's wild.
So you can have a family experience, and they even have a backstory. So the wife, whom is your wife, whom you've been married to for 8 years, is described as having an active and warm personality and a talented swimmer who loves cooking and her family. And I just think oh. And then
that's nice.
Oh, and then your daughter is, quote, a bit of a crybaby, has a strong sense of curiosity, and she also loves you very much. So you're literally you're gonna go into this house, and then there's a woman and a little girl that are there to pretend like they're your family, so you can mimic real family life. And I just think that sounds like the most lonely thing.
Can we customize it? Can you make your own story? Like, what if we were all spies? I'm like, the baby's a spy.
The baby's
I'm
a
a
spy.
spy.
You're just
My
making
husband's a spy,
you're just
and
making
we're
the
all out to kill each
Incredibles.
other.
You're just making the Incredibles.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Can I have just the incredible life?
So like, do you practice just for a day, or do you like buy the house, or like try out the house for like a week? And I could see
I'm
this
not.
like turning into like either a story of like you try it out for the week and you love it, and then you have to like fight to get them back, kind of thing, or this person like feels like creeped out by them, but he learns to love them after a week, and then day 7 that like take the wife and kid away, and he's just left in the empty house.
Well, so the
And
average.
as the door slams as they leave, and he's just left there with his
That's
dog.
depressing.
The
And
advertisement.
resonating through
The
these halls that are unfilled by the footsteps of his children as he that would be very sad. I like it.
It's so sad. When did we get the anime?
Yes, anime adaptation of Japanese house.
I posted a link to just in the doc just now, so you can see it. But like, first of all, the house is just absolutely mind blowing. It's so gorgeous, and it really looks like it looks like you're meant to spend some time in there. Like, I don't know. I mean, it really does look like it. They've got pictures of like a person, like an animated looking person that's supposed to be you, and you're sitting down in like this foyer having tea with your wife, or you're like in this little entryway playing with your daughter, playing games or coloring books. Like, I don't know. It really looks like you're meant to like, have dinner with them and friggin' live in there for a little bit.
How much is this woman getting paid?
Not enough. Not enough. I know that. Definitely.
I'm
not.
so curious what happens in this house.
So
do they sleep together? Like, do they go away like at night or what? I don't understand.
I don't know. I really don't know. There's not that much more detail.
There are so many questions.
But I love it. I love this nonetheless.
So it looks like the model home will be shown in Tokyo's Kokubunji district, with the model family residing there on November 19th and waiting for 5 husbands to be chosen randomly from online applications to, like, I guess demo the concept. I don't know, crazy. Moving on. So, but like I think like
I can't help it. It's so stupid.
But what if you lived in there for a while and then you got attached to them and then you have to leave and it just makes you sad?
Yeah, exactly. It's depressing.
All right, here's a totally different story. So, a story of a Japanese hazardous material response team that is made up of police and firefighters. So apparently, people reported a highly foul-smelling odor. This story is a little gross. A highly foul-smelling odor near the Akashi station in Akashi City. Since people reported intense ammonia smell from a series of bushes near the station. Apparently, it was bad enough that they called in both the fire department and the police to investigate this smell. They arrive on scene, take samples that they found, and the police ran a lab test for toxic components that were in the bushes, but they found none, of course. Instead, the fluid was found to have contained elements commonly seen in human urine, which was traced back to a 42-year-old man living in the city who said, quote, "I dumped my own pee," adding, "I thought it would be nourishing as a fertilizer. And, quote, "I got it from my mother over 5 years ago, and it seemed like a waste to just throw it away." And I'm thinking,
that's the double take moment of this story.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm thinking, like, why are you dumping your pee? Was it your mother's pee?
That's what I'm questioning, yeah.
Haining said pee. And then why were you Haining said pee for
I got it from my mother over 5 years ago.
I mean, why?
Or is this like a family tradition? Does the family just like, does it pass it down? Like,
yeah, maybe he got this habit from his
Jesus
mom.
Christ.
Yeah.
Is it like epic? Are we talking like epic level hoarding here, where you're such a hoarder that you can't even throw out your pee? So why is the pee 5 years old, and why would he fertilize the heavily like populated area of the city with it? So there were some comments from social that were pretty funny. These are all quotes from social. The smell. That's some vintage urine. Must have mellowed something awful. Amazing. Urine becomes very powerful after a few years. I don't get it. He got his own urine from his mother?
Yeah.
That is a chemical weapon. I feel bad for lab people who have to analyze this stuff. Thank you for your service. He was marking his territory. He got arrested for that. People puke and poop on the street all the time. They don't. Well, I guess they do.
Well, they don't let it ferment like that.
Yeah, for five whole damn years. He should have sold it online as a quote Akashi 20-year single malt, and then finally
That's the business mind. There you go.
There you go.
and then finally, and the strangest comment sounds like he is a bottler, and there's actually a description of what a bottler is in the article, and the article says a bottler is a Japanese term for a person who plays online games so consistently that they pee into bottles rather than step away from the screen for even a moment. So
Dedication.
Sounds like a man
I
up in
think
your heart.
I think this has less questions than the previous one, just because of like the logistical nightmare of like the previous one. But this is just, it's a lot to take in.
yeah, oh yeah.
It's a lot to take in, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
You're
Let's move
confused
on.
by it. All right, the
Wait,
final.
did the plants grow like super large though? That's
Oh.
the question here.
What
What effect did it have? Maybe he's onto something.
I'll
Well, it
post a,
seems like he dumped it, and instantly people were like, "What's with that smell?"
It might smell bad, but maybe that food tastes delicious.
I posted the link in the show notes so you can. I don't know. I don't think it's said. Finally, another just kind of a weird story is that a Japanese company is crowdfunding a project for bottled onionade, and I'm kind of curious to see Mason's take on this as a foodie. A few years ago, Japan released a genetically modified onion called a smile ball. That is an onion that doesn't smell at all and doesn't make you cry when you cut it.
That sounds like a new like Pokeball.
It does.
So,
Smile ball.
Japan is all about
Catch
this.
Pokemon with high friendship or something.
Yeah.
Japan was one of the first people to make the fruit that tastes like bubblegum and whatever. They've genetically modified different vegetables and fruits to be different shapes. They've done all kinds of stuff. People criticize it all the time because people don't like stuff like that. But apparently they're really popular in stores, and they're so popular. The onionade or the smile balls are so popular that now they're making an onionade, which is an onion-based beverage that has an added refreshment of water and lemon to it. And apparently it smells like onions and tastes like apples. And there's a crowdfunding page right now for the product that's already reached 40% of its target. And apparently people are really wanting to taste onions. So I don't know what else to say. Hey, Mason, would you drink a bottled drink that was made primarily from onions? Would you drink this?
So I am not a big like raw onion fan. Like some people can just like pick up onions and eat them like an apple. To me, raw onions are one of the like worst flavors out there. So I'm not a big onion fan.
But let me say, let me interrupt you for a second. This smile ball onion is meant to be eaten raw. So you can eat it raw, and it's not bad because it doesn't have the intensity to it that a normal onion's got. So with that in mind,
onions aren't like that.
Taste the same.
Onions aren't that healthy for you, so there's not like a benefit to them. Like onions are so good because of when cooked with other stuff, they add such a depth of flavor. Like cooked onions and used in dishes and soups and stews, they adds a lot. So like anyone who says they don't like onions needs onions in their life. Like you can't make pizza or stuff like that. Like it's used so often. So does this not have those benefits? Because if you just like apples, just get an apple. And the reason why onions make you cry is because people aren't using a sharp enough knife in the kitchen. So instead of like slicing and cutting through an onion, they are smashing it.
They're tearing
and
it
that's what's like, that's what's causing the smell. So if you're crying a lot, get your knife sharpened. Step 1. Step 2 is like you can freeze it or make it colder. Doesn't matter. I mean, I would try it. I'll eat anything. I mean,
I'm tempted to buy some of this. If I buy some, I'll send it to you guys and we can all try it.
Excellent.
I'm good.
down.
Manny's like, no thanks. Manny's like,
You'll
no.
trick us and just send us regular onions and be like, yeah. I got these special smile balls. Yeah. Go for it. And just watch us on air, just shout out and recoil at the taste. So.
I posted a link to this as well on the doc, and there's a website called Sora News 24 that has a section for just weird shit. Just where I'm getting all this from. I want to give them some credit. And they just go on there and like every day there's some bizarre freaking Japanese story. I mean, I actually had a selection to choose from. So if you want to read just weird Japanese stories, it's a good website to go to for that. All right, hope that was fun. Mandy, what have you been up to?
So
Actual
2019
anime manga.
Yes, I'm actually watching anime and reading manga. So in 2019, I am now watching Gintama.
Woo!
Crazy.
Finally. Thank you so
In
much.
2019, I can talk about Gintama.
I mean, Gintama, quote unquote, finished airing in 2017? Maybe. So it's not like you're that far behind. You were just waiting for more of it to come out.
I was waiting for it to finish, so I could binge it.
Exactly. Like 700, or not 700. It's like mid threes, I think. You were just waiting.
Yeah, I think total is like almost to 400 now. I think. I can't remember. But I'm 30 episodes in. I started it on Thursday.
How many episodes is it?
I think it's
like
close to 300.
70-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy
for the
heaven.
whole thing. I think like the first like quote unquote season was like 200, I think. At least I'm going off by what Mao says. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been fun. It was interesting though, because it was different from what I was expecting. Because I've always been under the assumption that Gintama was just all goofs and that's it. Like just
all gags and
yeah,
stuff.
just all gags. I thought it was just a gag anime, and I was surprised by there are a lot of gags, of course, in it, but I was surprised by some of the slightly more serious tones in it. And I know I'm very early in it. I haven't got to some of the bigger moments in the series, but it's all right. Like it was weird because like the first couple episodes, I honestly was like, I don't know how I'm gonna watch this for 200 episodes, but it picked up a lot afterwards.
It does.
And I think that's because when I said I was gonna watch Gintama for the first time, a lot of people, I had already started it, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, you should start at episode 3. That's where it like really starts." But they're not wrong because the first 2 episodes, I was like, I don't know.
Episode 1 was literally just hey, people who've read the manga, here's a bunch of the characters animated, look at them. And if you're a first-time watcher, you're just like, what the heck is going on? And then like the second episode like begins with the beginning of the manga, and it like actually goes on to introduce all the characters you go on to meet. But the whole humor of Gintama comes from like this massive cast that you slowly learn about interacting with one another. So like you can't really get those interactions until you meet everyone, and you need to slowly meet everyone. And it's so odd to say like the first serious arc doesn't happen until like episode 60, like
wow. Yeah, I think
50s,
you were telling me that.
And you're like, well, what am I gonna do for 55 episodes? I'm like, you just gotta watch it. You just gotta learn to love it.
Yeah, it's not bad. There are some episodes that I really loved. I loved Ayame a lot. The like Kunoichi, her episode was hilarious. I was cracking up during that whole time.
You will love so many of the characters, and easily, while it's not like consistently the most funny, like compared to some other comedies like Sakamoto or maybe Cromartie High School or like Detroit Metal City, those are more like constant like haha moments. But when Gintama lands, it has the funniest scenes in all of anime. I
can't wait.
They're just not always there. So
the very intense what's it called? The hot pot. What's the hot name for hot pot?
Nabe.
Nabe, yeah. Very intense Nabe scene where they're like having a tactical battle of witch trying to figure out who's going to eat the Nabe first or steal all the meat was hilarious. I was cracking up during that too. The Shinsengumi are my favorite part of the show so far, though. Every time there's a Shinsengumi episode, I get really excited.
Well, you also have like a pretty good knowledge of like Edo era, like what was actually going on, because a lot of these characters are just goofy and funny, but a lot of them are like real world like inspired people, and they like use that like knowledge and like twist your expectations. So if you have that knowledge, it's that much funnier. Yeah,
it was really funny to me because like I've read a lot of books on the Shinsengumi. I don't know why. It's just I'm fascinated by that time and this group of
Just
And
outlaw policemen.
Yeah, and it was interesting because, like, I was like, okay, Akira Soji, I know who that is. I know who Hijikata is. I know who all of these characters are, like, from history. And applying that knowledge to what we're getting in the show was really kind of funny to me because because at the very first time that you see a gun in this series, and that's also something very interesting, it's like a mix between old. I know this is kind of weird talking about Gintama in 2019. I'm sorry, people who already know all of this. It's new to me, though.
Listen, they've gone through 400 and something episodes of this podcast. Always hearing Gintama like brought up as, oh, it's highly ranked in Mel, but like no one had seen it.
No one has seen it.
Just Gintama is just doing its thing. It's probably good. It's probably not worth it. Like there was no like concrete like what do we as the host think about Gintama.
But yeah, sorry guys who are like, how this person in 2019 is watching Hunter and Gintama. What the fuck?
Better late than never.
Exactly.
Look, guys, I don't have all the time in the world to watch everything. I wish I did. Anyways, but it's interesting because it is a mix of like the Edo period and like a futuristic shit.
Yeah.
Like aliens, and the Shinsengumi are using guns, and the very first time you see like a gun is in the Shinsengumi, which was interesting to me because I was like first taken aback because at that very early stage in the series I didn't know that this is like the direction the show was going, and I was like, that's interesting because the Shinsengumi, like kind of like the introduction of Western guns, is what kind of caused their downfall. And Hijikata in history was, shot and killed on horseback.
Yeah, because they're using swords.
Yeah, it was so interesting to me. I was like, wait a minute, what are they trying to say here? It was really funny just to see that these are the weapons of choice.
Yeah, it's like, and now guns are being replaced by drones and all kinds of stuff. It's like,
yeah, it's interesting that like the anti alien faction, like basically Americans are replaced by aliens in this series. It's really funny to me.
Gintama is the original meme series.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee, like, people in the Discord will start seeing Gintama, like, emojis start popping up as Mandy gets to those segments and realizes, oh, I need this in our repertoire now. Yeah. So I'm just telling you now, it will happen. So if you want to join Mandy on her quest, start now, people. Try to keep up because it's going to be a wild ride.
Whew. Yeah. I'm expecting Okita Soji to die because of history. So I'm expecting that.
Because you like him.
And because I like him. I like all of the characters who are like, I don't know. He strikes a chord with me. It's just like, I'm not going to take fucking shit from anyone. I'm going to speak my mind all the time. And I just want to fucking kill Ishikawa.
Well, I'm sure we will talk about this as you progress further. What else have you been watching?
What else did I watch? I watched all of Sakura Quest. It was a very fast binge. I don't want to talk too much about it because Mason and I are planning on doing a review of this.
Yeah.
Because it was up for review in the past and it got dropped somewhere along the line because I think it was a Kimiko show. Is that right?
I think so.
Man, yeah.
I think it just fell by the wayside. And I think we should do it justice. We should give it a little, at least give it a memorial. give it a proper send off.
But I did really enjoy it for spoilers for our review. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Please Take My Brother Away season 3. I started that, and that is hilarious. It's not airing anywhere legally, unfortunately. Like even for season 1 and 2, I can't find that anywhere streaming. Like I checked everywhere and I couldn't find it, but it is on YouTube.
That's where I usually end up watching them.
YouTube, yeah, same.
Yeah, and just in one glorious like 30-minute binge because all the episodes are like 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
3 or 5 minutes, and oh my goodness, they're so heartwarming and good at the same time.
For those who are not aware of what Please Take My Brother Away is it's a very short comedy series that was I believe Chinese originated in China, and then they dubbed it in Japanese, and I am watching the Japanese dub of it. I don't know where to even find the original, but it's so funny. It's basically just about a brother and sister. The brother is an idiot. He's so dumb. And the sister is done with his shit.
To be fair, I think all the males in that show are
All of them are
pretty dense.
stupid.
They're all pretty dense, but some of them are prettier than others, and they get away with it.
The rich kid is my favorite character
Oh
because
my
he's
goodness.
trying. He doesn't want them to know that he's rich, and he's trying so hard to fit in and get into their world. It's so funny. So yeah, I watched what is available of season 3 so far on YouTube.
Nice,
And
nice.
Season 1 and 2 are also on YouTube, and it's a very, very fast watch. Like Mason said, it's only like 3 minutes an episode, and it's so funny. Updates on Dice Club and Bookworm.
Oh boy,
Bookworm has hit an interesting place. It's still pretty slow, but it's hit an interesting place where there is like an actual threat to mine. Like, I don't know, it's going in a direction that it could have some darker themes in it. I'm interested in seeing where it goes, and like the possibility. Like, I'm trying to do this without spoilers, but there is a possibility of like kind of like a theory of maybe what happened to mine before this woman was reincarnated into her body. I don't know. It's interesting.
I can always play the spoiler drop if you want to.
No, it's okay.
No, it's too early still.
Yeah,
It's
like
too early.
there's maybe after I finish the whole thing, maybe. But yeah, where it's at right now, I'm kind of interested to see where it goes. Although there is a little bit like an uncomfortable moment where the woman who was reincarnated into mine was a grown adult woman, and of course she's reincarnated into a child. And there's kind of like a weird, like she may be having like a relationship with this other young boy, and I'm like, ooh, this is kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about this, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So far, it's super wholesome though.
Cute.
Dice Club is also still pretty mediocre, like it always has been, but it is interesting where it's giving me a lot of information on just board game creation, because one of the characters in the show decides that she wants to be a board game. I keep saying video game. Sorry, board game designer, and it gives you a little bit of history of what is known as a board game author, who created that term, and the very first person who referred to himself as a board game author, who is basically just someone who designed video games. And it goes through, like, she is actually making her own board game. And it kind of shows like the struggles that designers go through and the importance of playtesting, because she is very insecure about her board game and she wants to finish it fully before showing it to anybody. And the board game shop owner is telling her like, no, you need to play test through the whole thing. Yeah. And it shows how much, like, when she does give it to her friends to play, they're like,
why does this turn all the
boring.
other cards into elks? What's with that?
What's with all these fucking elks, right? God damn it, Oko. Magic the Gathering reference for those who are wondering.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, it just goes to like the different struggles and how just a very small change to a board game can completely change it into like a, kind of like change the clunky execution of what the original creation was. I binged all of Grand Blue.
Unbelievable.
That was a very fast
You
watch.
are a machine, Mandy.
Yeah. Well,
You're
we haven't done
unstoppable.
this topic in a couple weeks.
Yeah. This is accumulated.
Yeah, Grand Blue. I originally dropped it because I was like, it's kind of funny. I think at the time it just wasn't what I was into. So I started up again, binged through the whole thing, and it has some really funny moments, and there's some moments this is really stupid.
Is this the one where like frat boys drink a lot?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Okay.
sometimes scuba dive.
And sometimes,
And
scuba
sometimes
dive.
get naked.
And honestly, like
God.
earnestly tries to tell you like
Jesus.
how to scuba dive with like how to like empty the water from your mask and stuff. But you're like,
Oh, man.
I'm not
please,
taking this
people.
seriously.
Do
'Cause
not.
2 seconds ago, everyone was naked in their boxers, just
Listen.
mainlining.
I love how misleading that OP is. OP goes into it. You're thinking, get me out scuba diving. I can't wait to learn all.
Oh, please do not. Please go get certified for scuba diving. Do not
They
not
go
take
through the
your.
certification test in there.
I'm sure they do, but please, people, do not learn how to scuba dive from Grand Blue.
Don't do anything.
People
you've
die.
seen in the
People
show.
die all the time scuba diving. Please.
I think they tell you like explicitly in the show, like
Yeah.
Don't do what you're about to see at home. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It is some really funny moments.
It's a good binge show though.
I actually kind of enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another example of something that I dropped at like episode 2 and picked back up and actually enjoyed it pretty much. I was going to talk about Delicious in Dungeon because the new manga came out, but I didn't get time to read this because Pokemon. So
the new volume of it.
Pokemon supplants all.
Yeah, so I was planning on binging this like before we started recording. Didn't get a chance to.
Pokemon
so
is all consuming.
I started reading Claymore again, and I've almost caught up to where the manga and the anime split.
Like diverge.
And it's still like the artwork can be kind of
so inconsistent.
Yeah, it's so inconsistent.
It's so inconsistent because it's got such high highs.
Yes, and low lows.
Yeah, it's like it's only inconsistent because sometimes
super foreheads.
They put on the manga just wakes up and is like, "Know what? I'm gonna make art today." And sometimes they wake up and say, "I'm gonna use my other hand today."
I'm gonna use my foot today.
It's like it's not consistently bad. It's just I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, it's all over the place, but it's still an interesting manga though. Yeah, like I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It still has that kind of like Witcher feel to it of like monster hunters and yeah, it's very interesting. I'm really enjoying it quite a lot. But yeah, and Bride Story. You should definitely read Bride Story. It's a great manga.
Pretty.
So wholesome. We read it for Manga Club and we had a good conversation. A good conversation came out of it.
Nice.
But it was still one of those shorter book clubs where we were all kind of just like
it's good.
Positive.
What do you think? I also think it's good. Yeah. And you? It's good. Okay.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. One of the best looking manga that I have ever seen. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I'm definitely going to start collecting that manga.
I got volume 1. I'm on the path towards this direction. I just wanted to bring up. I didn't finish it yet, but because you recommended Udakoi, the Haki issue, the anime about like the 100 poems from Karuta, like the backstories of those. I don't think I said on the show. I started watching that, and it's good. I like it. It's saucy. It's funny. It's
saucy.
Saucy. It's got that.
Saucy.
It's got that love. Those love stories.
It's saucy.
Yeah.
And it was good. I enjoyed it so far. So.
Just to give a quick like rundown of what Bride Story is for those people who are like, what is she talking about? Bride Story is a gorgeous kind of historical romance manga set in like the late 19th century Central Asia, and it goes over like the different from like different stories about different brides, and starts off with like the first 2 volumes are about a very particular bride and her like arranged marriage, and then it goes on to different ones, and you learn a whole lot about the culture. Everyone's so wholesome. I love it so much. You should
and it's
definitely
also like
check it out.
Geographically like grounding, because it's not just like, oh, these are all Japanese stories. Like these take place across the globe.
Yeah, it's definitely like a culture that we don't typically see in manga or media, and I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
Apparently she did a ton of research. This is the same author who did what was the other one?
I actually don't even know. I was ready for you to drop this bomb on me, and I was going to be like, "Wait, really? That's the person?"
Emma, the one that was yeah. Also the author of Emma, and about Victorian Britain. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so much. I can't wait to collect all of them because they come in these really nice hardback books as well.
That's crazy because I don't remember the Emma manga having like that great of art.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested.
I guess it had. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like the time period between them. Let me see. When was Emma created?
Because like the details were there, but like the facial expressions were kind of like simplified. But this one, just everything looks
gorgeous, and action scenes are fantastic too. Like there's an entire panel of her hunting a rabbit and like her notching the bow, and it just goes back and forth between like the different steps she's doing, loading up her bow and where the rabbit is, and everything is so clean, so clear that you can always tell exactly what is happening. Yeah, it's really good. Highly recommend.
Guys, I hate to rush you along, but we're not going to be able to root a Demon Slayer if we don't.
Oh no, I think that's about it. I think that's kind of what we've been up to. I honestly, Demon Slayer was 20 something episodes, and between that and convention, I didn't watch much else. So I think I want to talk about Demon Slayer.
All right, Mandy, what's the in-show trivia question?
Now we're going to go on our break, and here is your in-show trivia question, which we will answer after the break. In the series Beastars, Louis is a red deer who is also the leading actor in their school play. What is the name of the play he stars in? And we'll answer it after the break.
Hey Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is back, and it's time to bring you more anime news, starting off with some rather dark news. We have some news about some children in Japan, middle schoolers, that were charged with assault when it looked like they created an online profile on a dating app pretending to be a high school girl selling sex. One boy who had just reached puberty and had not had his voice changed apparently was using his voice to lure in male sort of victims or purchasers of sex, I guess, with his high-pitched voice imitating a high school girl. They lured a 20-year-old college student to the park for sex and then mugged him for a mere $8, which they could probably buy 2 Starbucks lattes with. And this incident chain continued when the boys tried to lure another target, which didn't show up, and ended up assaulting an elderly man in a park out of frustration. Well, the boys have been arrested, but very rare sort of dark news story for Japan, especially from 6 junior high school boys. Very crazy. Next up, Sazae-san hosts her first TV program, the iconic Sazae. Well, she's going to be hosting a television program that's going to be commemorating the anime's 50th anniversary, and they're going to be talking about the history of Japan over the last 50 years. Sazae-san is going to be hosting this television program alongside acclaimed journalist Akira Ikegami. And furthermore, the set of the show is constructed to look like the Isono house from the anime and the surrounding neighborhood, and the anime staff has produced some 4 Como strips of the original manga as well for the event. And a special animated segment of the show is also going to involve Ikegami interacting with the anime's characters and revealing unexplored aspects, like the secret behind Namihei's hair and other things from the anime. So, if you are a fan of Sazae-san or want to hear about Japan's history, check out this television program that's going to be coming out sometime soon for the 50th anniversary of Sazae-san. Next up, the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences is going to be hosting a special screening and panel for Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira on December 2nd to commemorate the film's 30th anniversary. The screening is going to be held at the Samuel Godwin Theater, and it's going to be incorporating a lobby exhibit of the animation cells and works from the anime, which should be really cool. Special guests include the director of The Book of Life and production designer of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, director of Hotel Transylvania, animator and lead draw-over person for Moana, and so many more things. So if you're a fan of Akira, and maybe you can make it out to the Samuel Godwin Theater and check out that screening. Last up, Pokemon. Well, Pokemon Sword and Shield is pretty much all anybody will care about now for about, 3 weeks, I imagine. And the December issue of Shogakukan's Koto Koto Comics magazine revealed on Friday that they are going to be getting a new manga, of course, in addition to a new anime series, which we already discussed. The content of the story follows a boy named Gol and Satoshi, aka Ash. Gol with his starter Pokemon Hi Bunny, and of course, Ash is still toting around Pikachu. So you're going to be able to get new friends, new monsters, new Pokemon, and new characters as they explore the regions of the game, and actually going beyond the regions that are featured in the game, as Go wants to find Mew since he was a small child and it was his dream to find the Pokemon that he had seen from his youth. So if you're a fan of Pokemon, the fun never ends. You will have more content than you can possibly consume for the indefinite future. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to find ways to improve, and now we have an exclusive RSS feed for our members that will allow you to listen to our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties all on your favorite mobile apps that you use for your other podcasts. That includes Podcast Addicts, Pocket Casts, the Apple Podcast app, Overcast FM, Downcast, Castbox, and so much more. Head over to our website, aaapodcast.com. Along the top bar, there's a button called Member RSS that will let you access your RSS feed, your private exclusive feed, so you can listen to all of our exclusive content in your favorite mobile app, and you'll be supporting the podcast as well. Head over to our website right now, become a member, and start listening.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。
You know me? Of course!
Welcome back to the podcast, guys. Good to be back. Before we left you, we had an in-show trivia question. The trivia question was, in the series Beastars, Lewis is a red deer who is also the leading actor in their school play. What is the name of the play he stars in? And the answer is Adler. Lewis also plays the character by the same name in the play. So, and there you have it.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to scuttle us along real quick here because we are a little long and I want us to have plenty of time for Demon Slayer. So let's get right into the 5-star review without any delay.
It's time for iTunes review.
All right, Mandy.
Yeah, so if you want to leave us a 5-star review, you can do so on iTunes, and we
it.
would super appreciate it. This
I
one
would.
is from SC Bear. AAA is the best.
Oh, yeah.
They write, I look forward to listening to this podcast so much every week. My commute to a corporate job is much more enjoyable with Mitz, Mason, Mandy, and Enzo, and previously Kazuo, RIP.
Oh, no.
From the drops to the segment themes, everything is well thought out, and the veteran hosts experience shows, or their experience with shows. I love that I can trust the recommendations for what shows to fit into my crazy schedule, and I genuinely enjoy their opinions and banter. Keep making great content. It feels like y'all are friends, and I hope this podcast continues to grow for a long time.
Poor Kazuo. Rip. You know
Yeah.
what? You know what?
That was so well written.
You know what? Just for
Yeah.
Kazuo. Just for Kazuo.
NUDZPLZ. Nudes, please.
There you go. Just for Kazuo. And, you know, SC Bear, thank you so much. And you know what?
Yeah.
As a person who also has a corporate job, I'm glad we can dull the pain for you. I know it's painful.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much. And my cat also says thank you.
Oh,
that
well,
timing.
my goodness. All right, guys. We have a review here of Demon Slayer, which is one of the hottest anime of the year, probably. So,
Yeah.
and we want to have plenty of time to do this. Demon Slayer. I'm not sure who passed this.
This is
think it was-
mine.
Okay, Mandy. Well, then go for it.
Yeah, so Demon Slayer was one of my picks from the spring season, and during my impressions of it, I was like, this is the new like Shonen Jump series. This is one of the big new titans of Shonen Jump that everyone is talking about. Alongside Dr. Stone and Promise Neverland. And I also did the manga for Manga Minute as well. And I didn't read too far into the manga at that time, but I'm very interested in continuing it. But the studio that adapted this manga is UFO Table.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone knows. The
Fate.
famous.
Fate.
The director was Haruo Tozaki. I'm sorry if I screwed up their name. And they worked on a bunch of tales of anime, but and if you're also interested in the original mangaka, their name was Koyoharu Gotoge. And yeah, so Demon Slayer is set. Oh, I forgot to bring up my notes. Give me one hot second.
One hot second.
It's set in like the Taisho period, like early 20s ish era, and it follows the story of Tanjiro. And at the very beginning, he's working to collect charcoal for his family, and he comes home one day and finds out that his family has been brutally murdered. It's a very horrific scene, and the only person left alive is his sister Nezuko, and he discovers that Nezuko is actually a demon and tries to attack him. And so after being able to get a muzzle on her so she is unable to bite or hurt anybody, he is now on this quest to try and find her a cure. He finds out about this group called Demon Slayers. He finds out more about demons along the way, and he is out to try to join these demon slayers in the hopes that hunting them might help him find a cure for his sister. And along the way, we find a bunch of different kind of very quirky characters, and they're just become friends and growing. Just loads of shenanigans happen later on. So let's go ahead and give out what expectations we're going in, and I'll go last since I chose the anime.
I wrote verbatim on the doc. I said I expected it to blow my dick off. That's literally what I wrote. And it's UFO table, so come on. I think it's pretty fair to expect mind-blowing animation, when they consistently just put out good stuff. I'm thinking of course, I'm thinking of Fate right away. So it's Fate Zero, etc. And I heard a lot of stuff about episodes 18 and 19 from Twitter. So I was just waiting for those episodes to come around because as I said, I thought it was going to blow my mind. So that was my expectation. Like pretty much just, and like, come on. I mean, I don't know how much stock you put in on like my anime list, but it's rated higher than like Spirited Away. So, I mean, I kind of thought it was going to be really good. So I would say I had no other expectations other than that going in.
So I often hear about like UFO tables, like greatness in animation and stuff. And I, not being a Fate person, really haven't seen that.
Oh,
like the UFO table that I know is their earlier, more experimental works. You had like Karen of Kyokai, you had Gyo, that like weird adaptation of the Junji Ito stuff. You had Manabi Straight, like that's the UFO table I know before they became unlimited budget works, as the meme says. So this was like the first UFO table I've seen in a while where I'm like, oh, this is why they have a reputation for looking pretty. I get it now.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
So there was that. I watched this. I did not watch it week to week. I waited and marathoned it, which I think is definitely the way to go about watching it.
Interesting.
And I had read a little bit of the manga, which I'll point to later when we get to spoiler territory. But my quick thought is like I was kind of iffy on the manga, and I would say between the two, the anime is what I would recommend as the way to
hard agree. Yeah.
I was about to just say hard agree.
Hard agree.
To my own point. This is
to your own point.
Anime is the medium to consume this, I would say. So I kind of had lower expectations, and like we talked earlier, I'm not really in the social media loop, so I didn't have all this hype that you had going into it. So I kind of came in with the lower end of the spectrum expectations and kind of had those exceeded. So yeah.
Yeah, same. I did the manga for Manga Minute. Honest, first 2 volumes, I was like, I can't remember actually if I read one. It's been a long time. But at the time, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I think it maybe, for me, it was the art I wasn't too hot on at the time. But, and there's so much exposition in it, which I was going to talk about later on.
Okay.
But, I wasn't that excited going in, but I knew its reputation. I knew that this is like the new hot Shonen Jump series, and I'm also not typically a giant fan of Shonen Jump. I've been watching more of them now, because Hunter x Hunter has like ruined my life. But yeah, I was tentative going in. So yeah, let's go ahead and do our spoiler-free recommendations. So if you have not seen this series yet, you can listen to what we think, and then based on those, you can go and watch it and come back and listen to the more in-depth spoiler territory later on.
I'll just go first since just to keep it in the order. I think this is a real easy recommendation for people who love action, for people who love fantasy. You know, there's some pretty interesting looking monsters in it. Really not recommended if you can't handle blood. I mean, there is a ton of blood. I mean, I wouldn't say there's not really much gore in it really, but there is a lot of blood. Buckets of blood.
I mean, I don't know. I don't disagree that there's not a lot of blood, but it's definitely, I would say, more gruesome and grotesque in its violence than most shonen.
I mean, yeah, it's grittier.
It's more unsettling in the way the bodies move and move in the way that bodies shouldn't move.
It's gritty. It's gritty. I think what I meant by like not a lot of gore was like, you know, it's not 80s like intestines sliding out levels of gore here. It's mostly
agreed.
You know, it's mostly just, you know, limbs being cut off and lots of blood. So there's lots of violence, but if you're a person who needs to have like moving, like this is going to be a theme of my conversation throughout, but like if you need to have consistently moving story, I wouldn't recommend it for this, because like there are massive chunks of this first season where there is absolutely no movement at all in the story. So great for action, great for just, you know, watching some badass shit happening. But as far as like if you're a person who has to have story driven movement, then I wouldn't recommend it. Also, not if you can't handle blood. So that's about it.
Yeah, I guess I wanted to make that distinction of like the uneasiness of some of the violence, just because if you were like a parent or something and you're like, oh, my kid watches Naruto with me, he watches Dragon Ball Z with me, he watches the Sword Art Online, the most like the isekai stuff, like he can handle, like there's definitely a next level of like darkness.
Oh, this is rated R.
In this show.
Is rated. It's rated R, I would say.
Just because it's shonen, I would say it's definitely, you know, if you had like younger viewers, they might not respond well to that. That aside, though, the aesthetics of this show are probably the most consistent I've seen in any shonen, where it starts off good, and I just kept on waiting for, when is this not going to look this good anymore? And I'm still waiting because it still looks really darn phenomenal. I highly dislike how they do the hair. I think the hair looks really bad.
I like
but
it.
Everything else is phenomenal, and just it is a visual feast.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think episodes 18, 19, whatever, are a little overhyped. So don't like temper your expectations a bit and just go in and watch it. It's going to be talked about. It was all over the convention. People were cosplaying it. People had stuff for it. It'll continue to be talked about in the future. I don't think it's one that's going to continue on for hundreds of episodes. I think there is an end that they are approaching in a couple seasons or two. So I think this is one of the better shonen to get into. So try it out.
Cool.
Do it.
Yeah, I highly I enjoyed my time entire way through. Not only do I think it's one of the best looking anime to come out in recent years, I also think it's one of the best shonen jump series to come out in a long time. And it does have some typical shonen tropes in there, but I don't think it's trying to like reinvent the shonen wheel or anything. The characters, especially Tanjiro, are what shines, and how every fight, and I disagree, I think every fight in this propels the story into a meaningful way, whether it's fleshing out the world with new information on how demons function and the hierarchy between them, establishing the bond between our characters, or chronicling Tanjiro's growth. It's a revenge story with a very heavy emphasis on family, love, empathy, with a very killer OP. The OP is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
The OP is unskippable.
Yeah. I watched this weekly while it was airing, and I was always eager for the week to pass by so I could watch the next episode. And outside of a couple filler scenes, I was always excited for more, and I had a ton of fun watching it. I hear some very crazy stuff is going to come up in the manga soon, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I highly recommend it. That's all I got.
All right, let's play the spoiler drop so we can get to the juiciness.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god.
Yep. I actually personally think that this is a show that's not all that easy to spoil, but if you, I guess, outcomes of battles and stuff like that, if you don't want to have any kind of spoiler, then maybe tune out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think listening to spoilers wouldn't diminish your enjoyment of the show.
Which goes to my
I
point.
think there's no like reveal so massive that it's like,
no.
Well, now what's the point of watching this fight? It's like, no, you get to watch the fight.
So, who wants to start with this with the deeper plot of the story?
Yeah, so I took like 3 pages of notes because I was really excited. I've been waiting for this. I loved it so much. Like after it finished, I was like, hey, I really enjoyed that a lot. I think outside of just being a very beautiful show, Demon Slayer, like I said earlier, shines with its characters. And it does contain a lot of action scenes, but I think what I really enjoyed is how those scenes kind of further along the character development, and every fight like advances the characters' arcs. Like the very first one, it establishes that Tanjiro is very determined and refuses to give up on Nezuko. Then the Temple Demon reinforces Nezuko's love for her brother, and also that she's not a damsel in distress. She's a very powerful force to deal with.
She's not a damsel in distress. She's a demon in a box.
She's a demon in a box. True. The training arc in the mountain leads Tanjiro to discover his own strengths. Like the Demon Slayer test shows us that where all of like how he is going to apply those strengths, and the first time that we get to see his empathy towards others, and that's what that whole empathy thing is why I love Tanjiro so much as like a main character as a protagonist.
Yeah, he's pretty consistent.
The fight with the demon who is kidnapping women introduces the demonic blood magic for the first time, and the true strength of Tanjiro and Nezuko's bond. And the next arc introduces the main villain to us very early. Then that there's a whole lot more to him than just I'm a demon that's eating people, and I'm fascinated to learn more about him. And while also on that arc, we also learned that there are demons who are good, that are trying to help people. And then like the drum demon episodes, which were some of my favorite. I love that scene so much. Introduces like the new supporting cast and the demon hierarchy. Then the spider demon arc establishes the world's main themes of family and how you should be treating others, while also giving Tanjiro's companions so much needed growth. They really need some development before that moment. And then like the introduction of the pillar shows just how much Tanjiro has to go. Like I felt like every arc and every fight was propelling these characters to their ultimate goal, and I thought it was really well done.
I guess I can see some of those points. The fights are outstanding in the anime for sure. They're all outstanding, 100%. I guess for me, like you can literally, this is how the show goes. You get like the first few episodes that really set it up. Then you have like two or three episodes of training, and then like 12 episodes of monster battles, and then he gets to the point where he finds he meets up with some of the other demon slayers, and I'm thinking, okay, this is where the story is really gonna like take off. Like it's anime, right? So a lot of times, it's like the first 5 episodes are the story, and then you get a bunch of crap in the middle, and then the rest of the story at the end. But like we didn't even get the story at the end. Really, it was just a lot of training, and then Kibutsuji did some really crazy, wild, badass shit at the very end. But I guess for me, like, when the story is basically Tanjiro's family dies, and he goes on a mission for revenge and to resuscitate his sister, and, like, I mean, I guess I can understand that a fight can enhance a character's personality or give you more lore into the demons, but there's really no plot points being developed in those fights. Like to me,
the fights were very much character studies.
To me, I
more
guess
than progression of the plot. Like it's
I get it. I get it, but like to me, I guess my overall point is that like it's not really enough for. I know I get it. It's to get that it's a shonen, and it's not like a lot of these shonen shows they last forever and they have very sort of shallow plot lines sometimes. But to me, I guess it's just not enough to watch 3 episodes of an anime and watch a fight, and then the outcome of it is Tanjiro's empathetic. Like if I can skip episodes 9 through 20 and not miss a whole lot in terms of the story, then to me that's kind of a problem. And since I binged this, I was like, God, just please, just a plot twist, make someone die, like something, please have something happen. But it never does because the show doesn't and won't kill anybody. I'm fairly sure it doesn't kill anybody, even though they probably ought to be dying. And as Enzo would say, the stakes in the show just don't feel substantial because, I mean, what is the big loss if Tanjiro dies? Like the world doesn't end, the city doesn't fall. It's just like a boy dies and his sister doesn't become a human again. So I don't know. I guess I need things to move along. To me, it just didn't hit those notes, I suppose.
I mean, it sounds like in a video game, if you fight a boss, like you get experience for doing it, and that's what happened in this show. And these characters gain experience. But you were looking for like, oh, I defeated the boss, and now this gate unlocks, and now I can go to this new area. It seemed like we got all this experience, but we didn't get that like unlocked new thing. Like there was no correlation between defeating this enemy and where they went to next. It was just, this is an obstacle in the way. They fought them. It reinforced their goals. It reinforced the characters to each other. And it didn't necessarily mean, oh, it unlocked the next path. It just meant it was a hurdle. They cleared it, but we're at the same place now. It sounds like that's what you're...
I mean, there's plenty of lore in the world. There's plenty of lore. The characters are...
Yeah, we learned a lot from those fights.
You learned a lot. Like, the characters... I don't love all the characters, but there's some characters that are really great. You learn a lot. You learn things about Nezuko, but the story... Boar. The boar guy's a wild, crazy man.
I love Inosuke.
I feel like we just have to get to the characters. I feel like that's what's the driving factor of this show is the characters more than the thing of like, yes, he defeats a demon, and yes, we can say he gets blood from them, and that may go towards solving her thing, but that's a very like nebulous thing. And even like, Mandy called this like a revenge story. Like, yes, it is explicitly revenge, but it's more of like a race against the clock, like recovery story.
Basically, yeah.
And like revenge is just the manner in which, like he's not killing this person because
that was me trying not to spoil anything.
People
he's not trying to kill this demon because of what this demon did. He's trying to kill this demon because it will save what's left.
Yeah.
So
people on Twitch are like saying, "Oh, they didn't kill anybody. Just wait." Well, but like we're not reviewing season 3. We're reviewing season 1. And when Inosuke is being held up in the air by a creature that outweighs him by 1,200 pounds, and he's squeezing his head like a grape, it ought to crush like a grape, and he should die in that scene. And when he doesn't die in that scene, like I think to myself, nobody will ever die. And the fact is, they didn't kill anybody. So the point that they didn't kill anybody kind of stands. But how did you guys feel about? There was some puzzling stuff in the show that's in the story too. Like, so I kept thinking that the villains in the anime, maybe you guys don't feel this way, but the monsters I didn't care about them. So like I kept thinking about Zabuza from Naruto, I guess because it's the beginning of Naruto. And like they do like so much to make that scene so emotionally just crushing because you care about Zabuza and the smaller girl or whatever he had with him, boy, or I can't remember if it's a boy or girl. But like in this anime, I just didn't feel like the demons had enough meat in them to make me care about them dying. And then the one spider boy did die, and they tried to make me care, but they did it after he died. And I was like, you should have done this before. That way I cared about the outcome of the fight a little bit. But they chose to do it after, and it was a long backstory, like almost the whole episode or more than a whole episode. And I was just wondering like what you guys thought was on both of those points.
You, Mandy. You go first, then I'll sweep up.
Yeah, mine kind of ties into also why I just like Tanjiro so much. And that's why I wanted to touch on that moment. I am going to get back to that, but I was thinking about like, I mentioned earlier that I like Tanjiro so much because of how empathetic he is. Because I found his empathy so compelling. You know, demons killed his family. He is now a demon slayer. He's out on this quest specifically to kill demons.
Yeah.
And yet he shows so much compassion for the enemies he is fighting, taking a moment to grieve for them and to give them a worthy ending. Like Tanjiro killing the mother spider demon was also another one of my favorite moments in the series.
It was a beautiful moment. Yeah.
It was a gentle,
gentle death.
Yeah, he has every reason to kill them without mercy, and yet he empathizes with their stories, and you know, despite having so many reasons not to care, I don't know, it was very refreshing to me. I killed her in a way that was also like painless, but also gorgeous. And I was very emotional over that scene, and going into, you know, the one with the backstory that comes afterwards. I think what's interesting in how they chose to do that is because it was like it's a shonen thing where you get really excited for a fight beforehand and during the fight. You get really excited, and I like how it hypes you up, and then it shifts your emotions afterwards, at least for me, where at the very end, that desire to see Tanjiro kick ass suddenly dissipated at the end. And I almost felt bad for wishing the death on this creature. It was like, I don't know. I like the way that it was executed, because a lot of the endings had very bittersweet, sad endings to them, where it was like hype, and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't know. It was very interesting. I feel like it's kind of reinforcing that feeling of empathy for your viewers as well. Because I loved how the whole spider demon arc like reinforces like the very importance of family, and how you should, you know, also like there's some lessons in there to take out of it as well, and like how you should be treating your friends, or like treat everyone like family, and because you don't know what kind of issues they may be dealing with, and why you maybe shouldn't excuse their actions. Treat everybody with kindness.
Treat everyone like your family, but don't make them your family.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
No, so I was with you, Mitz. There's the scene. Essentially, the fight comes to the conclusion.
Yeah.
We know we've won, and it starts off with this backstory of the Spider Boy. And I'm like, oh, now we're doing it? Now, after the fact? Like,
yeah.
Why now? This is not good. This is bad. And then 30 minutes later, at the end, I was like, no, I take it back. It was really well done. The themes of family, it was super well enforced. And, like, it just was like, oh, we really dislike this dude. We had nothing but, like, anger for this dude, or we were cheering against him actively because we didn't understand. And we judged him. We didn't know the full story. And
exactly, yeah.
And it's more than just empathy. It was just this like prejudgment. We didn't know. We just simply didn't know. And it just shows. It was just so good. It just was so good and refreshing.
It gave me a lot to think about. That's so rare for Shonen Jump.
Yeah, because it didn't interrupt the flow of the battle. It kept it going, and then after it was dying down, it was like the last breath, last gasp, and I agree that it was odd that was after, but it absolutely worked.
I think it was like kind of an after, kind of a thought that I had, because I feel like the other villains, like the one, like the drum demon, like his story was what? He was a failed author? Did I miss it?
Oh, the one in the house. Yeah.
Did I miss it? Like the ball demon and the arrow demon, like I don't remember them having a compelling story. And actually, I think the Spider Boy got more of a backstory than anybody else in the whole show, like including the main characters. Does he have more in terms of minutes spent, more backstory than Tanjiro got? And so I was just thinking, like, interesting that he got so much, and then to have it afterwards, I guess. But I understand and it was well done. It was, I mean, it was good. I just thought, like, wow, I might have really have cared about the outcome of the fight if he hadn't have been just like an evil, hideous beast monster that needed to be killed, the whole fight until the end, and then But anyway,
no, it's definitely more typical to have it, and I agree that it could have gone over very poorly if they had like flubbed it in any way, just like that ferret is flopping around.
Yeah, I was pointing at him earlier.
It would have definitely been a harder hit, but I think they took a risk, and
Mhm.
I think that will be a theme going forward. I think all of the fights will be hype, 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 hype. And now we know that in our heart that like every single demon has had some moment of like sadness, regret, pain, suffering. Like it is very sympathetic. And we know that now. And you should kind of expect, hey, every person we're about to see are just going to be actively trying to kill Tanjiro, and Tanjiro is actively going to be killing them. And we know Tanjiro's story, and we know him, but keep in mind, everyone we're about to see, all these, the upper echelons of the demon thing, they're all going to have something similar that you should carry and assume out of everyone you meet and take that into the real. Oh my, it's just good.
Yeah, I was actually.
I want to talk about
really
characters
because they're fascinating. I like Mason said. I actually wrote it down in my notes that they all carry so much pain with them, and I'm curious about the main villain as well because he's masterfully twisting the demons under him and manipulating them, but he has a human family, and I was like.
I guess
there's so many different layers to him. I want to know more.
I think a lot of the anime just keeps reinforcing that Kibutsuji. I'm sure they're gonna have like some backstory for him that'll make us think twice, but at this point, he's just like a son of a bitch. Like I think all of these demons, a lot of these demons are suffering, and it's because of him. Like the whole thing is just because of him. He's a good villain.
Hierarchy of the demons. And of the Hashida, the upper echelons of the Demon Slayer Corps, like respectively, are both extremely fascinating. Like just the logistics of how they're ranked, what that means, what powers that grants them, and just this series could have easily had Tanjiro fighting through all of these different people, and because they're just like half of them.
All right, let's talk about the characters.
Tanjiro is so wholesome and so good.
Sweet.
And he is the what's the golden boy? He just says he's work hard, and just reinforces those themes. He literally carries his burdens on his back. He's got that weight on his shoulders that they could have not have painted that any more ham-fisted.
Yeah, right.
And he's so good. I love him, and I'm very upset when there's other people on the screen that's not him.
Yeah, I know. And he treats everybody like their family, and if somebody like a demon is threatening his family, he is not afraid to fight them. But like even like when Inosuke was stealing his food, he's just like, I don't know, he just treats him like he's part of his family. He's so sweet.
Okay.
He was can I just say yeah, can I just say though, like he's one of the better characters in the show for me, but can I just say that scene at the end and episode 26 with the coin flip, I was like, I almost threw up. I was like, oh God, just please no. But
I didn't mind it.
I mean, it fits his character, but it was a little much for me. I'm like
fair enough.
If it's heads, you follow your heart. I'm like, oh, I was like, wow, it really is. It was a little over the top for me, but yeah, he's a good character.
I think they could have subtitled it to like, make your own decisions or something like that, so it's not so like Disney magic, but. I like the concept, and just the concept of, well, what would you have done if it was the other side? He's like, nah, I would have just kept on flipping it.
Yeah. I know. How about Nezuko? I mean, I guess there's maybe not as much to say about her, but
I think Nezuko is such an important part of the story because, like, she might not get as much screen time as Tanjiro, but she's very important in driving home this show's themes. Like, Nezuko was told at the beginning, love all humans. And the scene where she gives Tamoyo, one of the demons, like her friendship, that is so important. Like, yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, it's kind of cute. No, that's actually really important when you think about it, because demons are not all monsters. Like, they can seem human, and that's going to be very important in the future should Tanjiro find a cure. Because think about it, like the Demon Slayer Corps is it called a core? I may have just mixed that up. With
that's right.
No, that was right.
That's right. I think, yeah.
But yeah, they exist to kill demons. What's going to happen all of a sudden when they're like, oh no, demons can also be human? Like they can live amongst humans. Are they going to be okay with that? Because not from what we saw with the pillars. But yeah, I don't know. She, like, it just drives home the whole theme of treat everybody like family. And I don't know, I liked her a lot, and she's cute when she shrinks.
She makes the money.
Yeah. Or the beady eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like rolling on the ground.
I don't love her a whole bunch, but like as a character, like what she brings isn't much. But when you think of, oh, she could have easily been just the sister at home far away that he's trying to save, just like in the background. Like they could have easily pulled like a JoJo Part 3. It's like, oh, I gotta save my mom, and she's just back in Japan as this whole adventure ensues, and like we don't care about her. Like having her there helps the story, and like she becomes more crucial like when the demon or the Hashira, the upper echelons of the Slayers, like question their devotion, and like that whole point is more when it comes into play. And I'm not a big fan of like the whole like brainwashing thing of like how did he get her to, like that was kind of loose, but like I get it, it's fine. I think I just am yet to be like haven't come to a determination. I think I need to see more of how her development and story plays out now that she's like being kind of tasked to help with this efforts. So I'm iffy on her, but I think it's better than having her not in the show.
All right, how about Zen? How about Zenitsu? I didn't like Zenitsu.
I'm not gonna do it.
He
Were you gonna scream in the mic?
Please don't scream. My only thought on Zenitsu is that he's comic relief and he just screams a lot, and my ears hurt. That was
Everybody over here in the West hates him, but it's actually a pretty interesting, like, fun fact. In Japan, he saved this because the series was in danger of being canceled, but when Zenitsu was introduced, it became massively popular in Japan. Like, I don't know, he saved the entire series from being canceled. But
wow.
I don't know. I don't hate him nearly as much as everyone else did. I agree. The screaming is obnoxious.
Yeah, he's wow.
But he has so much room for growth, though. And we see a lot of that in the Spider Demon arc, and I'm very interested to see where he goes.
It wasn't the screaming; it was what he's screaming about. Because the whole thing is Tanjiro is too perfect. He's brave. He's tryhard. He's always has the best in mind, and they needed to have some characters to kind of show some realism. Like people would be scared in this situation. People would not want to be here. People would freak out. People would be alarmed, and they put all of that as far in the other end of the spectrum as Tanjiro is good to like try to balance it.
Yeah.
And you can't put that all on one character because it makes that character so insufferable and such like a pain to deal with because it just goes on. It's not that he's loud and screaming, it's that he just is so digging his heels in, and it just slows everything down. And every episode where they're running around in circles or just constantly like repeating
that one. Yeah, I did not like that episode.
Was like any of the episodes where like did the transition cards where like their three heads like shifted across the screen, it was immediately a terrible episode and I couldn't stand it. And I have very similar feelings for Inosuke.
He was fun.
Inosuke?
He was
best boy. I love Inosuke.
He was
fun. How many times do you say, I'm going to fight you, and they run around for a minute? Oh, I'm still going to fight you. It's like, let's get going. Let's do something. Like, I get that you are just wanting to fight and just not in touch with the world, but it was just so frustrating to deal with.
He was fun, but he was very one note, and I know this wasn't much to him, I guess. But
I like how much growth it earned, though, especially in the Spider Demon arc. Like Inosuke also is like I need to fight. I just want to fight shit. But then in the Spider Demon arc, he's forced to realize that he's weak. And he has a whole lot of growth to go. He calmed down a whole lot after that.
I very much agree, Mandy, that both Zenitsu and Inosuke will become far better characters.
Isn't it just Inosuke?
Inosuke, yeah, I guess.
I was like, the Inosuke?
Inosuke.
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just nitpicking. Like, I'm so sorry.
They're inherently like going to be better characters because of their growth. But as of right now, at the end of season 1, I've had more episodes of them being little turd bags than being people I want to interact with. And
pretty boy boars.
Yeah. So as of right now, I just still really don't like them. I know that will change. I have no doubt. But as of right now, they are insufferable.
How
I
about
want all the Inosuke shit, please. Thank you.
how about Michael Jackson?
I already said earlier, I'm fascinated by him.
I like
I
his.
want to learn more about him so much. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I like his disposal of the lower ranks at the end because that's,
I
I said earlier, they could have had that be 50 more episodes of
I
him
agree.
fighting through all these people. And hopefully that's a sign of saying, like, no, we're just going to save the best, juiciest fights. We're going to get the story over with quicker. And if the villain's going to sabotage his goals for that, love him.
Yeah, the villain is he's a crazy mofo.
And I like the Hashida too, besides the lady who's in love with everyone.
Wow, I did not. I actually hated the Hashida. Thought they were awful. Their designs were infuriating. I cannot handle the two-toned hair. I just can't. I have never been able to handle it. Clear back to what's that anime with that girl that like gets beaten up by dudes like the whole time, but she doesn't. Oh, what the hell was that? I hated that anime so much. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. But like two-toned hair has just never done it for me.
It's not Kill la Kill, is it?
No,
Okay.
it's no. It's probably because I've just like erased
Girl
it.
gets beat up by dudes. Kill a kill.
Yeah. I can't. Amnesia. That's what it is. I think amnesia. Like I've never been able to handle it. And the multicolored eyes. And then they're just very. They're just caricature. Like the one guy, everything is this is flamboyant. This is flamboyant. And then the other guy just cries all the time. And then there's like this snake guy. Like I feel like I was watching Naruto all of a sudden, where like one person has like, where their designs and personalities are so extreme that they distract from
person collectively.
They just distract from everything that had to do with the anime up until that point. Like, the butterfly girl was just like a total bitch, and
I loved Shinobu.
and never showed any emotion in her voice at all, and I don't know.
But that's what's so unsettling about her. I like her a lot.
I mean,
I agree.
She was
my favorite out of them.
She was not one of the worst of them, I would say, for me.
Agreed. I guess I just see the Hashida as like one conglomerate, one like collective unity. And I agree that as individuals they're very one note, but I think, to bring in 8 people at once would have been hard to, I don't know. I guess I don't disagree, but I definitely agree about I don't like the hair in the show.
I guess he's looking for these demon core. The demon core was like this thing we waited for the whole show, and I guess I just expected more than this like ragtag pack of like friggin' lunatic people that just don't behave like people and are just I don't know. I guess the show kind of felt like it shifted into like Tokyo Ghoul or Awadi no Seraph like real suddenly with like these military swords people that are just so bizarre. So I didn't really care for them very much.
I love the cleanup crew. I love the whole
me too.
concept. There's a group of people who just sweep up the streets and take care of people, and that was great. I love that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're fine. I mean, that's not really what I'm referring to, but
I
know.
I like them. I thought they were interesting, and I'm really interested to learn more about them because I think it's they have humanity in their main, and so that's where I think it's going to be a very interesting balance. Should Tanjiro ever find a cure for Nezuko, I don't know. I'm very interested to see what happens. I have some notes from like the production side.
Okay.
Like I was saying that like earlier, this is UFO's Table's very first Shonen Jump title series to adapt, and this is the first time they've ever adapted a 2-core anime without taking any breaks. And this was in development since early 2018, which was a year before broadcasted, which is extremely rare because they had so much confidence in their project at the time that they gave it as much time as they could for it. And it was made by a very small crew, and they brought in a lot of outsiders to help in assisting in directing and storyboarding. The character concept and art was done by Akira Matsushima, who worked on Hunter x Hunter. And so it's no wonder why they look so sharp and well polished. Yeah. I love the line work so much. It has a lot of shifting weight, almost kind of calligraphy style to it.
Yeah.
Like this series is gorgeous. If you want Sakuga,
it's
this
beautiful.
is it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's almost the same line art as sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay.
I was about to say Bungo Stray Dogs has a very similar like weightiness to the outside of characters, and it really helps them just pop off the page or anime screen. Words continue.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say episode 19, which is famous among the anime community now, was done by Nozomu Abe, and he has worked on he's worked on loads of stuff, but it's impressive that he has a very impressive history of just key animation, both technically and emotionally. That scene stands out, and his ability to take a very hectic scene, make it clear so you can tell exactly what's going on during any frame without sacrificing the show's beauty is what he's known for. So yeah, they had a lot of really good people on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I there's nothing bad to say about it visually or auditorily, really.
Oh man, the lighting.
It's just perfect.
Backgrounds.
The sound when Inosuke was punched in like the stomach by Tanjiro coming out of like the house, like the crunch of the ribs.
Oh yeah.
That like that Foley effect was phenomenal. Just to touch on like the sound, an example of it just being thick and full, so good. I also we talked about it earlier, but I actually have like episode 19's equivalent of like the manga in my version of Shonen Jump when they fight. Boy, and
I haven't got that far.
I was following this along with like this and like some of the other chapters I have like with the show, and this is just not convoluted, but it's not as clear cut. There's just a washed out like graininess to it. Like it's just nowhere near as like good. Like the anime like shot for shot also just looks better, which is something the manga usually can lord over it. But no, the anime was just took everything and just saturated it up perfectly and just added all these effects that really brought it to life. So I just want to reaffirm my point to
anime.
I don't think anime is definitely better in this case.
Yeah, I agree. From what I've read, I am not that far though, of course, in the manga, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, what I did read, the anime is so much better. But I was gonna say the only real con that I had is that I don't know. Like I feel like the show could have benefited from trimming some of the exposition. A lot of the exposition from the manga came into the anime. I don't know. I think that they take so many moments to explain things in very tense scenes that I was like, I don't know. I feel like we could have done without that.
I get you. We could have assumed and be told later or something.
May I call for final comments? We're like epically long on this one. I know it's a big title.
Sure.
I'm ready to score.
Yeah, let's do it. Do you want me to go first?
Go for it. I'll go last.
Because I feel like I'll be in the middle. It looks great. Looks great the whole time. It's a feast for the eyes. It's a feast for the ears. My biggest complaint is that for all the characters I love, for all the intrigue I have, there's a lot of characters I just am like, I just couldn't stand. And
Inosuke's best born, Mason.
Demon Slayer was a beautiful tree, and it was blooming and it was growing and it had good pacing, and I liked every episode, and it was zooming along, and I'm like, nice, Shonen is back on the map. And then these two characters just started taking axes to it, and for every scream, this axe just like pummeled into the side. For every wanting to fight, they smashed into the other side. They just kept backing away. They got new swords made and immediately ruined them. Like, yes, it's funny, haha, but it was just so infuriating that I just didn't enjoy like the half of the show where these characters were in it. And just like the chunks just started coming out of the score. So I don't know, like I recommend everyone watch this. It is good, but it's not so compelling yet, and the characters haven't been saved yet. And I don't know. I'm gonna give it 3.5 of those fancy drums that was like merged into that dude's body out of 5. Because it was good. Watch it, but it was just, I think season 2 will be 1,000 times better.
All right, so for me, I had just massive expectations for this. I think that the anime itself is not really something you should binge because it just doesn't. The story just doesn't move. You know, like I've said it a billion times. Like it just doesn't really move. Like the plot doesn't unfold. Like you can enrich the world, but like enriching the world and extending the plot is 2 different things. And so I just was just like, I'm sitting there and I was just tapping my finger, like, come on, let's go. Like, let's find the demon core, go on a mission, do something, you know. I don't know, but it didn't quite live up to the hype for me. When I'm scoring this, I think that I kind of am putting it in my mind with Fate Zero because it's the same studio. They're both gorgeous. They're both primarily based around fighting. And so, but I just don't think it's quite as good as Fate Zero. I don't think it is. I know it's shonen. I know it's not really always going to have like the richest plot line. But for me, it's like I never am bored watching Hunter x Hunter. You know, like that's a shonen show. Like,
Hunter x Hunter is different though.
I mean, it just doesn't.
It's on another level.
So, but I think you guys did improve my score from the time I entered here till now. So I am also going to give it 3.5 beheaded demons out of 5. So
that was nice.
Yeah, everything that I said earlier, basically. I think it moves along at a great pace. I love the characters. Tanjiro is best boy. No, best boy. In this case, best boy. Sorry. Let me fix that real quick.
Zenitsu's best boy when he's sleeping.
Oh, man. Then he kicks ass. It's gorgeous, such a gorgeous anime. I wish I could just take an hour just to talk about the visuals. The fights, the demon powers I think are very inventive. They're very creative, like the demon one with the drums. We didn't even really get to talk about him. I love those whole set of episodes. I love the themes behind it. And yeah, I think out of all of the newer Shonen Jump titles that are big right now, like this Demon Slayer, Dr. Stone, Promise Neverland, this is my favorite out of them. I enjoyed so much of it and I can't wait for more. And I would give it 4.5.
Wow, wee wow.
Whoa, wee wow. All right, guys. First best Shonen and all Shonen Jump. All right. So yeah, guys, we're really long, so there's not going to be any mailbags today. I think it kind of goes without saying. I feel bad. Mailbags keep getting tossed aside, but come on, it's Demon Slayer. It was a big title. We got to talk about it a lot.
Big title, big talk.
I should say that the listener score from Social was a 4.5. So,
yes.
So people are enjoying this show, and there's going to be more, and they'll continue to enjoy it, I'm sure. So, guys,
there's a lot of comments on our list too.
There are a lot of comments. I feel bad because I'm not going to read them all because we're just too long right now. But if you do get the show notes, then read them off the show notes. And thank you for people that do provide comments. So yeah, that's it, guys. Again, thank you. If you want to head over to our website, aaapodcast.com, you can find out what we're going to be podcasting about. You can get access to our Discord, submit mailbags. You can
that we will answer in the future.
We'll get to them. We will you can get access to the member RSS feed. You can join the podcast by signing up. Help us out. Help us continue to be able to do all the things that we want to do and we can get our hentai episodes and our hobby addicts and our after parties. We're going to do an after party up here just in a few minutes, so stick around for that if you would like to. And of course, check us out on social, on Twitter and Facebook. Mandy is at @AAA_Mandy. I am at Pope Mitsugi. Mason is too damn spicy.
Just go to iTunes and give us that 5-star review, please. We need it. We want you.
Oh yeah,
so, please.
Yeah, just do it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Let's go,
and give
people.
us feedback so we can improve.
Of course.
Exactly.
Guys, thank you so much. We love you all. We'll see you next week. And until then, I hope you watch some fun anime. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
I'll be back with more Gintama.
Oh, buddy. Here we go. See you next week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.